That's what's happening here. Hey, everyone.
Hi. We're here with Caring Comfort News. My name is Zoe. I use they, she pronouns. You can find me at Twillick43 on all of the social medias.
Hi, everyone, and I'm Leslie. I use she or her pronouns. You can find me on all of the social media at Leslie Wombat, sometimes with an underscore in the middle.
Yeah. We're doing Caring Comfort News from the same location of first ever. You're witnessing history here being made, actively being made in real time. Before we get started, I'm going to tell you about our sponsors. First up, we have Callow. Callow Energy is a game-focused plant-based supplements company that we have partnered with and I use in my daily life. I use Q Focus to help me stay focused for streams when I have to be up late in my very active game schedule post stream, such as tonight, where I will be taking some Q Focus so I can stay awake and stay focused, and then Q Sleep later to help me sleep. We also have, and yes, you can use that link. Enter code COMFORT to get 10% off. We also have Dice Envy. If you're ever looking to grab some dice to fill your coffers, you can use our referral link in the chat. Use code COMFORT for 10% off on dice, dice bags, dice trays, and more. We are also sponsored by 1985 Games, the creators of Dungeon Craft. Once again, you can use that code COMFORT for 10% off for battle mats, miniatures, and their new deck of stories. And also, for a limited time, for just a few more days, 1985 Games. Hi, Brian. 1985 Games is running a Kickstarter. 1985 Games is launching a Kickstarter for the last set of VHS-themed sharp edge resin dice you'll ever need, and have offered us a special access link for our community. It is only going for 3 more days, I believe, 3 or 4. You can find that link in our Discord. If you use that link, and if you're one of the first 20 people to pledge to the Kickstarter, you can send us proof and be entered into a raffle to win a set of these dice for free. And that is it for our sponsors. So, Leslie.
I refuse. Hold on one sec.
Dang.
I was posting all those links, so I'm not there yet.
Oh,
okay.
Yeah, no worries.
So we're going to kick it off with video game news, which used to be my specialty, but I'm out of the game a little bit. But I'm going to get back into the game with Nintendo Switch Sports, which is a collection of 6 sports games. It's the Nintendo Wii collection that used to exist. What if it was on your Switch, which is like what we've all wanted. So I'm pretty sure it's like tennis, bowling. Apparently tennis and bowling function very similar to the Wii counterparts, while badminton and sword fighting are reminiscent of more Wii Sports Resort. Was that a Wii U or was that a
Wii Sports
Wii
Resort
still?
was on the Wii U, I believe.
Okay. That's what I thought too. I wasn't quite sure. Okay. Sorry, the stream like hiccuped on my other. I have the stream up in two places, so. It hiccuped and I got nervous. Also, pardon my voice, I was screaming last night. So it's like half the number of games of Wii Sports Resort, which kind of sucks, but like, I don't know, classic Nintendo, we're going to repackage something and give you less. That's kind of what they do. Instead, it offers actually online multiplayer, so that's pretty fun. There's also 8-player multiplayer in bowling, which is just what you've always wanted, is to get 8 of your friends together and play bowling on the Switch. Not as chaotic as Mario Party. I mean, I would recommend Mario Party and just cut that friend group in half, and just play 4-player Mario Party.
I mean, who really needs 8 friends? That's a lot.
That's a lot to manage.
Yeah.
I'm kidding also. Like, do whatever you want. Keep your friends close. Friends are important. I'm just kidding. Feedback from a recent online test was good, and there's every indication that Nintendo Switch Sports Online Multiplayer will be a strength. The final release date will be later this month on April 29th. So that's kind of exciting. I mean, I liked the Wii Sports game. I don't know. Do we have a price point? Because I'm curious now. I'm going to click on this and see if...
I wouldn't be surprised if it's full price. I don't remember seeing it in the article that was released.
Yeah.
Because this news came to us in the form of a review on IGN.
Yeah, I'm doing a skim.
Yeah, I don't think they mentioned the price. I wouldn't be surprised based on recent... behavior if it's gonna be a full price $60 game.
So classic. That's honestly so classic. Repack itself for the same price.
I don't know.
Is that like that? My thing with that is like part of that game was a pack-in, so like you're gonna charge full price for a game that you originally gave us for free, but you know, Nintendo, we like to make money.
Yeah, I feel like it could really go either way.
I would say if it's $30, that would be amazing. I do anticipate it to be more like $40, and if it's $60, I'm not that surprised, but I feel like that's an unfair price to pay. But if you love Sports Resort, you do you. I know a lot of people like used the tennis, I think, to like exercise. So I mean, it's a pretty actively involved game. So if you haven't been enjoying your time with like Ring Fit, sorry, I did the ring gesture to remind myself what Ring Fit was. So if you don't like Ring Fit, I would say, you know, and you wanted something maybe slightly more active, this could be a good maybe halfway thing. Also the sword fighting, I remember being super sick in Sports Resort.
Yeah, they said the sword fighting was really on the what's the word? Top of its game in this version in Nintendo Switch Sports.
Okay.
Based on like how, like, you know, how the Wii motion controls were at first, where they were very shaky.
Oh yeah, they sucked.
They did say that tennis seemed to be more based on the timing instead of actual like finesse.
Okay.
It's more timing based than skill based. But you know, we'll see. They're gonna add golf as a free download later in the year to bring the total of games from 6 to 7. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes. We'll see if it's worth buying at launch, depending on the price tag of the game. Because I'll tell you right now, I'm not spending $60 on Wii Sports.
Me either.
Even if it's on the Nintendo Switch, that's way too much money.
No,
it's too much money for most things on the Switch, TBH. Yeah. And I love having a Switch.
I do love having a Switch.
Yeah.
I agree.
Anyway, in related video game news, if you are a latchkey kid at heart who pines for the old Thundercats, wheeled warriors, or masters of the universe, you might want to keep an eye on Myth Force. Myth Force is a roguelike RPG that has been inspired by the syndicated cartoons that were a staple of 1980s UHF television. It is launching on Windows PC in early access on April 20th, exclusively from the Epic Games Store. Beamdog and Asper Media, who are the creators of this game, said that Myth Force is pure, unadulterated fun right out of the Saturday mornings of my childhood. Beamdog Chief Executive Trent Oster said that in a statement. It's a big departure from the RPG classics we're known for, but the Beamdog DNA is evident if you know where to look. In Myth Force, players will explore a procedurally generated dungeon, leveling up their characters and unlocking perks each time they begin the adventure. In true roguelike fashion, each time players are defeated, they have to start over at the beginning, but every playthrough makes them a little stronger. Myth Force's early access launch will include 4 playable heroes and a Rockin' Like Dawkin first episode titled Bastion of the Beast Lord. Players can brave the dungeon alone or join forces with friends in online co-op mode for up to 4 people. Leslie, did you watch this trailer at all?
No.
It is very much, if you look it up, it's like a 3-minute trailer. We don't really have time to show the people, but you can look it up if you want to. It is very much in that old 80s style of cartoons. You can kind of see it here.
Oh, it looks sick. Yeah.
You can kind of see it there, what
really
the animation
cool.
style looks like. It's really neat. It kind of makes me think of, it's obviously not the same inspiration, but it makes me think of that neat aesthetic style of, what are those, the Banner Saga?
Oh, okay, yeah, Banner Saga.
Yeah, that neat
like,
hand-drawn old animation style.
Yeah, if anyone's curious, so Beamdog, the games that they've worked on previously, so they did the Baldur's Gate Enhanced Editions that everyone might be familiar with, and then Icewind Dale, they did the Planescape Torment Enhanced Editions, Neverwinter Nights Enhanced Editions, and then they did Axis and Allies 1942 Online. Not familiar. I'm gonna be real.
I haven't played any of those games.
Me either. Have not played any of them. I know I have friends who really like Planescape Torment. I don't know if they played the Enhanced Edition or not, but that's what Beamdog has done previously. But it seems like they're a pretty they're a Canadian developer. Oh, here's a fun fact: they were founded by BioWare co-founder Trent Oster and former BioWare lead programmer Cameron Topher. So 2 people used to work at BioWare, so that makes sense that they do all this Baldur's Gate, and like Icewind Dale stuff because that's old BioWare properties.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. Sounds interesting to me. The art style looks cool.
Yeah, I'm in it. I'm super interested in it for the art style. I'll wait to see like a little bit more of the gameplay because
makes sense.
Roguelikes are hit and miss for me. Like I really
agree.
like Hades and what's that one? Dead Cells. But then there's other ones like the what's that rhythm one? The Zelda one?
Oh,
Cadence of Hyrule?
Cadence of Hyrule.
Of
Yeah.
Hyrule. Yeah, Cadence of Hyrule.
Shoot, what is that one called? I have that. I have the original game that I really like. Well, I like them.
I don't know what the original game's
both.
called. But those never really hit it for me. So I'll wait to see a little bit more of what the
that's called.
gameplay is like.
Me checking my Steam library, which is honestly a terrible idea because I have a lot of games.
You do have a lot of games.
Yeah, I have a problem, and it's
It's just called. Was it Cadence something?
Well, it's Cadence of Hyrule, but then the original game has a different name. You know what? Not important. It's a cool game, the cool rhythm game. See, I actually like a lot of roguelikes, but I guess Hollow Knight isn't.
Hollow Knight's not a roguelike now.
No.
Hollow Knight is a Souls-like game. Right?
Yeah, but it also has some roguelikey elements, but it is also a Souls-like. Anyway, doesn't matter. I usually like those games. I was playing one last week. I played 9 Souls last week, which was definitely a roguelike.
Yeah, that game looked really fun and cute.
It was really fun and cute and yet gross at the same time, which I loved. I was surprised because I thought Red Candle Games would. They're known for doing horror games, so I was surprised that it was so cute at first. And I was like, oh no, this is terrifying. Roguelike-ian. I like that, Zeke. Cool. Well, I have some great news about, great bad news, more hilarious news about Club Penguin. So Club Penguin was a massively popular children's MMO that was eventually acquired and later shuttered by Disney. So someone started an official website for the most popular clone, Club Penguin Rewritten, started up and has now been seized by the city police of London. And 3 people affiliated with the project were arrested, though as of today they've reportedly been released. So around 2005, Club Penguin was launched, and then it was acquired by Disney in 2007. I'm gonna be real, I wasn't a Club Penguin kid around 2005, 2007. I think I was a little too old. I was already deep into Gaia Online at that point in time and was transitioning out of Neopets. So, to exclusively being on Gaia Online for my role, because that's mostly what I did on those websites was role play.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about this story before stream. You mentioned being more into Neopets when you were younger, and so was I. But Club Penguin coming out in 2005, that was definitely like starting to go into high school for me. 2005 to 2006 was my freshman year of high school, so I was definitely not on Club Penguin.
I think I'm around then too.
But it's very wild that people were arrested for this. It is mentioned later that while speaking to Gizmodo, Big Chun, a moderator for the game, suggested it may have been the arrival of ads in Rewritten that opened it up to Disney's legal action, because obviously it had run for, how long was it? 2017? It started up pretty immediately and amassed about 10 million users. Mm-hmm. So obviously Disney probably knew about it, but weren't doing anything about it. So it probably was introducing ads in the summer of 2020, it looks like, that opened it up for retribution by Disney.
Here's some text on the webpage right now. The site has been taken over by Operation Creative Police Intellectual Property Crime Unit, PIPCU, PIPCU, referencing a department within the City Police of London. So that's hilarious. It says they were arrested for distributing materials infringing on copyright, which, I bet it's because they started trying to monetize that the website was shut down. And they were arrested, which makes sense. I don't know. I feel like once you start to monetize something that's like a fan project, that's usually when you get into trouble. Unless it's Nintendo, they're just gonna come get you anyway, and then republish what you've done.
There's a similar project. Do you remember Toontown? Toontown Online?
Vaguely, I was again not in my wheelhouse.
There is I don't remember the name for it. I think it's Toontown Revised, Toontown Renewed. I don't remember the exact name of it, but there is a fan project that has recreated Toontown, like down to the bits. That's bits is a bad word for that. You know what I mean?
Down to the bits.
Down to the bits. But it is a very popular service. A lot of people play it. I know Aid has gotten really into it. And I keep meaning to try it out when I have time for it. But it is also like, it does not use ads. It does not
There's no monetization.
There's no monetization.
Yeah.
They don't even pay the people who work on it. Everyone who work on it does so on a volunteer basis.
Damn.
Yeah, it's just people who love the game who are working on it. Because that's what happens apparently when you try to make money off of something like that. I'm sure the second that they tried to make money off of it, they would get
DMCA'd.
DMCA'd. Like, they don't even accept donations.
Damn.
Yeah, they don't do it because
if you
it would get shut down.
Yeah,
if they accepted donations, probably.
Don't want your cool little fan project shut down.
Yeah.
All right.
Cool. Well, anyway, I have some other news for you. Speaking of questionable business practices, both Nintendo and Sony will change how they market their respective subscription offerings in response to an investigation by the UK's Competition and Markets Authority. The UK regulator has been investigating all of the big three console manufacturers, though Microsoft opted in January to get ahead of its findings and roll out changes to Xbox Live Gold and Game Pass worldwide. Now, Nintendo and Sony will also alter their services to offer better guidance for customers. Nintendo, meanwhile, will no longer sell you its Nintendo Switch Online subscription with auto-renewal as its default setting. You'll now have to manually switch this on after becoming a member. Michael Grenfall, the CMA's executive director, said, "As a result of our investigations, a number of changes have been made across this sector to protect customers and help tackle concerns about auto-renewing subscriptions. Today's announcement therefore concludes our investigations into the online video gaming sector. Companies in other sectors which offer subscriptions that auto-renew should review their practices to ensure they comply with consumer protection law." So it sounds like they are all getting in trouble for slightly predatory business practices. I feel weird calling it completely predatory because I feel like there are definitely worse things they could be doing. But it is
predatory.
Yeah, it is interesting that having auto renewal as the default is illegal apparently, which I didn't know that would be the case.
Super interesting because I think I was trying to think if Microsoft does the same thing, but I honestly have no idea. And also I've had their services for months, years now, so it doesn't even matter. I do know my Sony auto renewal is on because that thing trips me up every year.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I get a weird charge and I'm like, what the hell is this? And it's like, oh yeah, PlayStation. But yeah, I think this makes sense. I don't really have a hot take on that. I think it's funny that Xbox went out and fixed their shit first, and then Sony and Nintendo had to be shaken down a little bit.
I think my only hot take is that I hope this leads to video game subscription services in general kind of reviewing their whole vibe.
Okay.
Because it's a bad I don't know, subscription services are a bad vibe to me. I'm not a huge fan. There are some concerns, which we'll get into a little bit later, I think, concerning the buyout of D&D Beyond from Wizards of the Coast that makes it sound like they might be introducing subscription services that will offer you content for Dungeons and Dragons that you can only get if you're a subscriber, which is not the case right now for D&D Beyond. But that's a later story. But the point is, hopefully, that this crackdown, as it were, helps facilitate better practices sooner to get ahead of it. If that makes sense.
To me, the subscription service isn't such a problem. It's more what you get for the subscription that I find to be a problem. Also, it's shitty that you have to pay for online for most things. I don't... That's why PC is generally better, because you don't have to pay for online services with that console. So, I don't know. Everything's a subscription now, which also sucks. That's just weird. I find out about a new weird streaming video service every day, which I don't understand. I forget what the one I just learned about was, but I didn't know it existed. It starts with a P, I think.
A P?
Yeah.
Oh god, I have no idea.
It's a very specific platform that I was like, what is this?
Is it Peacock?
No, I knew Peacock existed. Because my parents get commercials for Peacock all the time. But yeah, I still think it's weird that you have to pay for online services, but I to an extent get it. I also to an extent think that Nintendo is fairly priced, but then I find I find Sony to be the biggest waste of money.
Yeah, I do think Nintendo gives you the best. Nintendo's cheaper than the others, and then also is here's also an entire library of NES and SNES and Nintendo 64. Well, the Nintendo 64 games
to
cost
pay
a little extra.
Yeah.
But they do give you like that whole library plus the online features. That said, the online features for N64 also aren't as good.
I haven't tried that at all yet. I know people are like always annoyed that like they roll them out really slowly when they could probably just like release a bunch of them at one time, but like I don't know, whatever. I mean, honestly, we live in a shitty capitalist society and businesses are going to do what they can to make money. So
Yeah.
Not too much to fight there, but I mean, if regulations start changing and subscription services start like matching up kind of like what they can offer versus like things like that, that'd be cool, but I highly doubt that will happen.
Yeah.
Especially in the US. So
Well, what do you have next?
So a classic Dungeons and Dragons character from the 1980s cartoon is coming to Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, the officially licensed D&D strategy game that I had no idea existed. Developer Codename Entertainment is gearing up to release the game's 100th champion, and to celebrate, they're bringing the Dungeon Master from the 1983 D&D cartoon into the fold. I'm gonna be honest, I didn't know there was a 1983 D&D cartoon.
No, yes you do. Yes you do. Hold on.
I don't.
Hold on. You
No,
absolutely do. I'm gonna show you what the Dungeon Master. It is an idle game that I also didn't know existed. This guy. You know this guy. You've seen this man.
I have not seen this man.
Really? You haven't seen this man? This is what I'm showing, Leslie, just so everyone can see.
Yes.
The Dungeon
Yes,
Master
you
from
do,
the Dungeons and
Leslie.
Dragons cartoon.
Why am I being chided as though I should know this man?
I'm just very surprised you've never seen this person in like any like memes or TikTok or anything like that. It's all right. It was a bad cartoon. Wes and I talked a little bit about it last time. I have never seen the cartoon. To be fair and to be clear, I've never seen the cartoon. I've just seen the characters.
Time out. I would like to say they ride a roller coaster and are brought into the D&D world. What is that? What happens here in this cartoon? I've never seen this cartoon.
It's wild.
It's hilarious. It's really funny because my uncle is actually the one who got me into D&D when I was in like middle school, and like lent me his 3rd edition books. Yeah, 3rd edition, I think. And like, nope, never mentioned that there was ever a cartoon. It was just like, here's these books.
Well, like I said, apparently it wasn't very good. Wes and I talked a little bit about it last week because right now the speculation is that the new starter set that Wizards of the Coast is releasing is going to be a starter set based in the cartoon, based on very, very to be fair, blurry images. But I think that rumor has a little more substance now, considering they're doing this. They're introducing this character into their idle game that presumably a lot of people play. I don't play it because I don't really like idle games, because I'm very easily tempted to spend money on microtransactions and then regret it. So I just don't download them.
Yeah.
Because I know myself. But not only are they having the character, but they're also introducing, for a limited event, 2 classic villains from the TV show will show up. Venger, who was the main villain from the TV show, and Tiamat, who we all know Tiamat. But
I know that one.
This, design of Tiamat is specifically the one that was used in the cartoon. I missed the acrobat class.
I never used the acrobat class, I'm not gonna lie.
There was an acrobat class?
I remember it existed. I don't remember anyone using it.
Well, based on Barbarian, Warrior, Paladin, Thief, Wizard, and Acrobat. It sounds like Acrobat and Thief were probably just combined to make a rogue.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's that.
Yeah.
So
if you like the Dungeons and Dragons idle game, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, keep an eye out for the Dungeon Master from the 1980s D&D cartoon that all of us know and love.
I do remember Elf being a class, because actually if you enjoyed D&D like 1E, that's why I like Dungeon Crawl Classics, because Elf is a class.
Elves and dwarves are classes
Elves,
in
dwarves,
Dungeon
and
Crawl Classics.
Yeah, so Dungeon Crawl Classics kind of is like a 1E, like a really big upgrade to 1E, if that's your thing. But I always enjoy Dungeon Crawl Classics. It's very fun.
Yeah, it is. It's very fun. I enjoy running for level 0 characters through the meat
funnels
grinders.
are great. Yeah,
that
funnels
those
are
level
great.
0
Yeah,
adventures are.
You give everyone 3 characters, and they're like, "Why do I have 3 characters?" And at the end, they have 1
I
because
have
they died.
I have for my local game shop that I've never used yet because my group that was playing Dungeon Crawl Classics kind of dissipated. But I have pre-gens that are scratch offs.
Oh, I love the
It's like a-
scratch offs.
yeah, it's
Every time, every once in a while, I like check to see if the scratch offs are available because I've had a couple friends like I've run it for bachelor parties. I've run Dungeon Crawl Classics for 2 separate bachelor parties now. And they've all really enjoyed it, and I try to get more scratch offs, but they're always sold out on the store. And I feel like if I miss, like, PAX Unplugged, I wasn't able to get any. Oh, yeah, they weren't at PAX Unplugged, were they?
I don't remember seeing.
They might not have been, but usually I check, like, their booth at whatever conventions I'm at and try and snag some randomized sheets.
Yeah.
I should check if they're going to be at PAX East to make Nick bring me some back.
You should. Nick, if you're watching, Nick's not watching.
Nick's not watching. Nick is doing Easter.
Nick is celebrating. Well, hey, that is it for video game news. Now it's time to move on to Keep It Kayfabe, the wrestling section of our news show, which we do not have. What?
I'm just hearing you say keep it kayfabe.
Keep it kayfabe. No, as people who tune in regularly know, I don't know anything about wrestling. Wes is normally the wrestling person.
I'm so behind on wrestling because I watch it through Wes, and whenever we've been showing wrestling, it's like I'm working or like I'm streaming. So I'm very behind on wrestling, but I have been watching a lot of Twitter and seeing a lot of really fun things that I'm very excited about. Sorry, my cat's jumping around. Well, sometimes it sounds like his bones have all broken, but he's okay. He's made of rubber, so.
Hi, Garrus.
Hi, buddy.
Well, you know what I am good at, even if I don't know anything about wrestling, is I can still do research on the topic I know nothing about.
Don't bring him over here.
Okay. That is a skill that I remember from high school, is researching topics I don't know anything about and putting it together. So, with that boost of confidence... Yeah, hey, actually, Brian, that is the first piece I have an idea of. Whoops.
Garrus stepped on the mouse.
Garrus said no wrestling news.
Garrus hates wrestling, so that makes sense.
They were all yelling at us.
That's so funny. I love that we were not... I was like trying to like entertain my cat to try and maybe keep him from being a nuisance, and then it didn't work. All right.
Well, long story short, I'm not reading it all again. Long story short, the AEW console game, the tentative release date is going to be September of this year. There is a publisher involved, and a publisher announcement should be coming soon if all goes well. But obviously a lot can change between now and September. So it is not a confirmed date, but it is the expected release date. So if you are a fan of the AEW and wrestling games, as I know several of you watching the stream are currently, be sure to keep an eye out for that. Leslie, do you like wrestling games?
I used to play the ones on the Nintendo 64, and I've always really wanted to get into, there's like one that's like pixel based, and I don't remember, Fire Pro Wrestling, always looked super cool, and you can like, design your own wrestlers and set up things like that. Oh my god. But I never actually bought that game. I've watched people play it a lot and like set up fun mock matches. But I've never I haven't bought any of the more recent WWE games because they always seem broken and weird and goofy. Not that I don't like broken, weird, and goofy. Oh my god. Go away. Sorry, we're done with the cat. Okay, there we go. No more cat. He's being annoying. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see. I mean, I'm curious. I'm curious to see who the publisher is. There's a couple of like good wrestling game devs who've been kind of pushed out by WWE in the past. Like I've kind of kept track of that story. Who've done actually like really good games, but then something weird has happened with like the development process and the game ends up getting messed up. I'm excited for a game that won't give Vince McMahon money. Absolutely. I totally agree with that also. Yeah. Very exciting. I mean, Fire Pro wouldn't, but Fire Pro also is like pixels. Like it's like actual pixel art. So this is like gonna look more realistic, and that's very exciting. I'll be curious. I mean, if it seems like the game functions pretty well. I think also from what I understand about the game, I don't know if we've talked about this previously, is they want it to be more of like a legacy game rather than like WWE where you buy one every year. Mm-hmm. WWE has like the classic sports game model where you buy a new one each year.
Yeah.
This one, I think from discussions, it sounds like they're trying to do more of like a long-term kind of game, and like you might have to like pay for like upgrades or like maybe pay for roster changes or something. Mm-hmm. But it sounds like it's going to be more of a legacy game rather than a buy every year kind of thing.
That's cool. I like that. Like DLC for new talent.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. So then more wrestling news. So Dave Meltzer in the latest Wrestling Observer newsletter states that WWE talent recently got a memo regarding the name changes. The actual story behind this the talent got a memo and Vince McMahon decreed he doesn't want anyone new using their real names anymore, nor names they've used before on the indie scene. As it is always the case, the memo only applies to people who are newer and who they decide it applies to. So when mentioning that it only applies to newer talent, he mentioned how, of course, it won't be applied to bigger names or more established names such as Brock Lesnar, Ronda Rousey, Randy Orton, Cody Rhodes, etc., which is super irritating. Oh, thanks for the follow, Marcus Devil May Cry.
Thank you.
Oh, shit. I love that game. This acknowledges the planned changes, which could appear random and spontaneous on the surface. Vince appears to have fully made the switch to ditch the all real and indie names of talent. It's unclear whether more name changes of current stars are coming, but fans will be sure to keep an eye out, as you can never know when the next change is coming. Honestly, this is why I don't like the WWE. I don't like that wrestlers don't have the freedom to kind of like wrestle where they want, if that makes sense. Like, and like the idea to have to like come from the indie circuit and change your name and like totally lose that audience stinks. I mean, John Moxley talks about it in his book, which that book is so fun to read if you want to like read a cool memoir about a wrestler. I really enjoyed that read. John Moxley's just such an interesting person. But it like totally sucks to like have a name on the indie scene and then have to come to WWE and like change your name. And it sounds like it's going to apply at random. So they're going to decide that you're like big enough and now you can't use your original like stage name, or like you can't even use your real name. That's why it's always really funny when someone goes to like AEW and their name like slightly changes. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, this is dumb. I don't like the WWE. Yeah. Classic Vince McMahon, like making changes that just like stress people out and like kind of alienates indie talent and like also discourages indie talent from possibly going to WWE.
Yeah, it all seems very arbitrary.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's so silly. I feel like it's also just like probably if he doesn't like your name.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
If he's like, your name doesn't feel marketable to me.
Yeah. Pete Dunne turns into Butch. Is that an actual thing that happened? Who's Pete Dunne?
I don't know who Pete Dunne is. I'm gonna be real. I've not kept up with WWE in the current roster at all. But I love the idea of someone's name just turned into Butch.
Butch.
Just that. Pete Dunne. I could probably Google that and realize who that is. Vince is running his company to the ground. I mean, good.
Yeah. Yeah. Fuck Vince McMahon. You know what? That's the one sentiment I still carry over. Even without Wes present to tell me how much Vince McMahon sucks.
Yeah, I know.
I knew that. I knew that beforehand. I knew Vince McMahon was a bad person. I'll say it again. Fuck Vince McMahon. Anyway, hey, Toni Storm. Toni Storm made her AEW debut a few weeks ago and seems to have hit the ground running into a first feud with Jamie Hayter that will take place as a match in the Owen Hart Cup tournament. Storm couldn't be more thrilled with how her return to wrestling felt, but at one point she seemed primed to be one of the next big stars in WWE after moving from NXT to SmackDown. Storm was asked if she missed home during her time in WWE, and it certainly was a factor. She said, "I did. I went 2.5 years without going home at all. That's after a life about 7 years of being on the road. I left for England. About 7 or 8 years had passed. Then take into account the amount of negativity you hear about WWE and add that on top of it." She went on to say, "I'm not saying I have a problem with WWE at all. I'm actually really grateful for the time I had there. I learned so much. It was so cool. It was real. It was cool, but in the end, it wasn't real cool. Something just happened and I left. I felt like I was having an out-of-body experience. Have you ever just lost your mind? That's kind of what happened. The stress of not seeing family in years and so many overwhelming things all at once. I've been happier ever since." As for requesting her release, Storm says she realized that this wasn't the place for her and added that she didn't want to take a spot from someone who wanted to be there. She said, "I just freaked out and went home. There was a moment where I realized it wasn't for me. As much as I might have romanticized it as a child and thought it was my dream and what I have to accomplish, I just realized maybe it's not, and maybe it's not the place for me." Yeah. So Toni Storm opened up a little bit about why she left WWE. I know that this is a thing that people have been paying attention to fairly closely about her transferring from the WWE to AEW, as tends to be the case when wrestlers do that. I know that that is a frequent thing that seems to be happening a lot lately.
It does happen a lot lately. I mean, I think AEW, because that's the thing with AEW that seems to be the case, is they offer a lot more flexibility to their wrestlers. So, like, they could offer you, like, a lighter schedule or if you want to go home. Like, it seems like AEW is willing to be kind of a... Sorry, Garrus is just mean mugging us now from the window. Hold on, I'll take a picture and then I'll put it in the Discord. So you can see my cat just
straight mean
mugging us. Yeah, so I mean, I think it's really interesting to hear. I mean, this is kind of like, it's a song and dance. A lot of people who have left WWE have said, yeah, exactly.
It does. The whole quote feels very much like someone who is either not allowed to talk about bad things that happen in her experience with WWE, or is just trying to remain professional. Because that is a bridge that I'm sure people don't want to burn. But it feels very much like talking shit about her former employer without actually saying something that is going to get her in trouble. Which, hey, been there.
Well, and, like, I feel like it's the same, like, I'll again bring up the Jon Moxley book. Jon Moxley talks about how WWE has such a rigorous schedule, and you're traveling for so often that it's difficult to go home. And, like, especially if you're from abroad, like, I can imagine that's wildly difficult.
Yeah.
And, like, trying to keep up with matches and stuff. And, if you know, I'm glad she realized it wasn't for her and was able to step away from it. But then, you know, I'm glad she's maybe found a home where she can do something kind of more flexible. And I do see, like, even on, like, Instagram and stuff, like, I follow a bunch of different wrestlers, and they're able to take, like, they don't even have to take, like, a long extended break. They can take, like, shorter breaks where it seems like they're traveling a little bit and, like, just take, like, a few weeks off or something. So it seems like they're pretty flexible with their schedules, which I think a lot of wrestlers appreciate. Because I think they AEW has a big enough roster that they're able to provide flexibility to wrestlers.
About 90% of the wrestlers who leave have said the exact same thing. It's almost like they hand them the quote to say.
I honestly wouldn't be surprised, because it's probably, like, terms of their release. Like, I'm sure, like, asking for an early release, it's probably their terms, and it's like, okay, like, you sign this, we'll let you go, you can do what you want now. Okay, so I actually I want to move on to our next news story, because I'm actually really excited to talk about this, because I think this is hilarious. That people are really upset about this. So I saw this on Twitter too. So a spot during the Texas death match for AEW World Heavyweight Championship between Hangman Adam Page and Adam Cole has stirred up some controversy on social media. Some legends of the pro wrestling business reacted to the tweet sent out by Fightful's Sean Ross Sapp, where he posted a video of the spot in question, with the show airing live on the Christian holiday Good Friday. Some eyebrows were raised when Hangman Adam Page placed a crown of barbed wire on the head of Adam Cole at the conclusion of the bout. So, little crown of barbed wire, like a crown of thorns, on Good Friday. Have a blessed day, all of us. For those unfamiliar, Good Friday is the Friday before Easter Sunday, on which Jesus was tortured and had a crown of thorns placed upon his head and then was crucified to a cross. There are obviously parallels between the crown of thorns and the barbed wire crown, and viewers noticed. Sapp's tweet, accompanied with the clip, had the caption LMAO with multiple O's. Hangman Page put a crown of barbed wire on Adam Cole's head on Good Friday. Oh my gosh, someone named Eric Bischoff seemingly did not. As he wrote back, "You find this funny." Another veteran, Brian Road Dogg James, also chimed in into the debate on the topic and asked, would it be okay if they mocked any other religion? Let me be real, WWE has already mocked multiple religions and cultures, so, like, honestly, fuck all the way off. You've already done it. It's been there. Don't play me with this.
Yeah.
Shut up. Also, it's like, I don't even feel like it's super mocking. I don't know. It just seems hilarious. Others pointed to the various times religion was poked fun at in WWE, the Austin 316 idea being a fun spin-off of John 316. Vince McMahon's infamous angle with Shawn Michaels and God. There's like multiple times where God, I feel like, is brought up into WWE and like people are talking to different gods and things like that. I think people are just upset because it was on Good Friday and this is Christianity and we like to be upset about people making fun of Christianity. Also, I don't think, like I said, I don't think it was making fun. I think it's just like a fun little timely thing. It felt like a good ending to the feud. I haven't actually seen the match yet. I'm probably going to watch it later this week. But I am excited. Like I said, I'm super behind on AEW, which is upsetting. But, yeah, I don't know. I think it's fine. Like, please, if you see, like, I'm going to be real. Like, I think some Christians need to kind of get over themselves. It's not like they, like, I don't feel like it was even that bad of a caricature or anything. I feel like it's just a crown of barbed wire. It's chill. I don't know. Maybe have a little fun.
Yeah, I don't think it's a big thing. I've definitely seen. I don't know. I don't want to get like into whataboutism by like, well, they've done so much worse, but they also have done so much worse.
They've done so much worse.
A crown of barbed wire. It wasn't. I don't know what that's in response to. I'm not gonna lie.
It wasn't mocking, I guess. Probably, I'm guessing. Yeah.
I don't.
And the
think
spot
it
was
seems
beautiful.
mocking.
Yeah, it sounds like I don't know. It sounds like it was fun. I don't know. Have fucking fun.
Have fun.
Yeah.
Speaking of fun, let's move on to tabletop news. With news that is actually not that fun.
And then dead-eyed onto a table. Thanks for that description.
Oh my god,
Lexi, that's great. Hangman had the barbed wire on his arm, pulled it off, shoved it on a coal, and then dead-eyed onto a table, which is
wild.
Sick. I can't wait to watch that later.
I'll have to go back and watch it too.
Yeah.
It sounds great.
Yeah, spoilers, I guess, for that match, but
yeah,
oops.
It'll be fine.
On to the next.
It was 3 days ago. Hasbro has acquired D&D Beyond. The press release says that the strategic acquisition will further strengthen Hasbro's capabilities in the fast-growing digital tabletop category, while also adding veteran talents to the Wizards of the Coast team. The website has about 10 million users and was bought for nearly $150 million in cash. This purchase was spurred on by the fact that over the last 3 years, the royalty paid to Hasbro by D&D Beyond has represented a significant contribution to their fastest-growing source of revenue. It's no surprise that the pandemic has set up D&D Beyond as one of the most valuable, unowned pieces of the digital Wizards of the Coast bundle. The press release states that as of 2021, 80% of D&D fans have played the game virtually. That number is likely set to increase as virtual tabletop or VTT services become more accessible and easier to use. No one likes strategic acquisitions. Absolutely not. I have a lot of feelings about this. Some good, some bad. And it kind of lines up with what a lot of people have been talking about it. The only good thing I can think of coming from this is that Wizards of the Coast is notoriously anti-PDF for some godforsaken reason. It is very hard to find PDFs of their games, or at least it used to be. Like, when I first started getting into 5th edition, PDFs of the core rulebook didn't exist. I don't know if that's different now, because now I just own the core rulebook. Physically and on D&D Beyond, but the very first time, Don't DMCA, like, I pirated a PDF because the book was like $60, and I didn't know if I wanted that or not. Wild. So owning the digital marketplace might make it more likely for them to start actually making digital versions of their fucking content. But also, this news is coming right off of the news that Hasbro is starting to get into NFTs related to Dungeons and Dragons. And acquiring the most prolific digital marketplace associated with Dungeons and Dragons. I don't know enough about NFTs to understand like how they connect, but it feels like a connection, right?
But with purchasing this,
yeah,
D&D Beyond, I don't know how you would inject. I think it's just because it's their major, like, it's one of their major profit sources. That's probably why they did it.
Yeah.
I don't know how you would tie NFTs to D&D Beyond directly with, like, as directly as, like, kind of, like, forcing it.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how you would exactly do that. I don't know if you can force people to, you have to buy an NFT to get a book. I mean, that would be weird. But
who knows? It could be like there's that one person who's trying to make D&D NFTs of player characters,
Okay.
like character sheets, which is probably going to get shut down because, again, like we talked about last week, Hasbro's already getting into the NFT game, and they're not going to let someone else make NFTs based off their content, except maybe they won't have a choice because NFTs are fucking unregulated as hell, and people frequently make NFTs off of other people's copyrighted content all the time.
Yeah.
Which is kind of one of the many problems with NFTs. I don't know. There's also theories that we talked a little bit about it earlier, about subscription services where they might introduce subscription exclusive content to D&D Beyond subscribers, which I'm not really sure how that would look, other than maybe like you only have like,
I'm not sure how that would work.
There are spells that are only legal for you to use if you're a subscriber to D&D Beyond.
Oh, that would be so
which
weird.
would be wild. It's not what Paizo does, but Paizo does have like a system in place where if you play Pathfinder Society and you have the PDFs, it needs to be like watermarked with your name that's linked to your Paizo account.
Oh, that's weird.
Otherwise, you're not playing legally because you don't officially own the source books.
Huh.
Unless you go to a live event and you have like the books with you.
Interesting.
But it might be something similar to that they're going to be introducing.
Yeah, I don't know. I find this weird. The only other thing I'm thinking is like D&D Beyond doesn't really, D&D/Wizards of the Coast don't release content like frequently enough for it to be like a subscription service of like getting content. So yeah, like you said, maybe it's gonna be like, because I know there's like competitive D&D tournament kind of things. I'm wondering if you have to be subscribed to that to participate in like an online tournament. I could see something like that.
Yeah.
Like what Paizo is doing. I don't know. That's super weird. I don't really know. Or like a subscription service, maybe a subscription service that would allow you to store more characters, because I know there's a limit on how many characters you can have on D&D Beyond as like a free user. So maybe something like that.
They do already have like a subscription to D&D Beyond that like gives you more capacity for that.
Yeah, so I'm wondering if they'll just make it something so it's like more of a monthly thing. Please don't jump up here, buddy. Rex has emerged. Rex has been hiding for hours, days now, a day probably, and has just emerged, but I want him to go away. We'll continue talking about Dungeons & Dragons. So, Dungeons & Dragons publisher Wizards of the Coast will host a special streaming event on April 21st at 9 a.m. Pacific Time called D&D Direct. The approximately 30-minute presentation will unveil upcoming products, along with other announcements and updates, according to the news release. It will be broadcast live on both Twitch and YouTube. They currently have a lot going on at the moment, considering it also publishes Magic the Gathering. But for the D&D brand, there's at least one new book on the way called Journeys Through Radiant Citadel. And it's the first project penned entirely by Black and Brown authors in the franchise's nearly 50-year history. Okay. And then there's also a major motion picture starring Chris Pine with Bridgerton's Regé Jean Page.
I think that's right.
Fast and the Furious's Michelle Rodriguez, and Paddington 2's Hugh Grant.
Hugh Grant, famous for Paddington 2.
Why is Paddington 2 timed to Hugh Grant? Meanwhile, we haven't heard much on the live-action TV show in a while either. Forgot they were doing a live-action TV show.
Yeah, me too.
And then there are the video games. Baldur's Gate 3 is still in early access. I'm going to be real, that game's going to probably still be in early access for a while.
Bye, Lexi. Thanks for stopping by.
Yep, see you, Lexi. It's still in early access, and a yet untitled third-person open-world game is on the way from Hidden Path Entertainment. So I'm assuming they're going to talk about all that stuff. I'm going to be, hey, tomorrow. I imagine they're probably not going to talk about Baldur's Gate 3. It might be briefly mentioned, but I think a lot of the Baldur's Gate 3 press comes directly from Larian Studios, who are the developer of the game. Mm-hmm. So if anything, I would imagine there'd be something small, but nothing major about that. Maybe the movie that I didn't know existed.
Yeah.
With Chris
Pine.
Poor Chris Pine. Chris Pine is my favorite of the Chris's, I will be honest. And I don't like that he's doing the weird D&D movie.
Yeah,
there's Chris Pine, there's Chris Pratt, there's Chris Hemsworth, there's Chris Evans.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, Chris Pine's the
more.
best one. I agree.
Chris Pine's like my favorite of the Chris's.
Mm-hmm.
Good taste, Leslie. Yeah, thanks, Zeke. Hell yeah, I love Chris Pine. Of that swath of Chris's. And yeah, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about any of this. I'm gonna be real. Kind of might not care.
Yeah, I feel like there's already been significant news from Wizards of the Coast just today. There have been for the past couple of weeks with all the new projects coming out, like acquiring D&D Beyond and Journeys Through the Radiant Citadel. and the new starter kit that's coming out that has rumored ties to the old Dungeons and Dragons cartoon. Who knows? Maybe they're going to be bringing back the cartoon as a Netflix special. Who can say?
I can only hope. I love, you know what, bring back old weird cartoons. Bring back the Legend of Zelda cartoon. Put that somewhere so I can watch that hot shit.
It's funny because it feels, it's very relevant to what we were talking about last week with the death of E3, me, Wes, and Nick. Coming at a time where most video game, publishers are just doing their own
Mini
directs
shows,
like this, like Nintendo Direct, or the stuff that Sony and Microsoft do, whose names I can't remember at the top of my head.
It's PlayStation Now? Nope.
No, that's the subscription.
Yeah, I don't remember.
I don't know, but you know what I mean. They're little mini shows where they reveal what they have going on.
Right.
And it's interesting that Wizards of the Coast is now getting into that game. But yeah, that's going to be on April 21st at 9 a.m. Pacific. Which is 10, 11, 12 for most of us, I believe. Or 1?
3 hours, so.
Yeah, so noon.
Yeah, noon.
Noon for the East Coast.
Noon for East Coast, 11 for Central Time.
The D&D cartoon is okay, but not great. I prefer a remake, honestly. Yeah, that's what I mean.
I think that's fair.
That's what I mean, like remaking the cartoon as like a Netflix
re-release it.
thing, kind of like they did with She-Ra and He-Man.
Just post it.
Or just post
don't
it.
actually.
Or do both.
I'm just goofing. I have no opinions on this. Cool, gonna pull up some content for our next one.
So the next thing we're going to talk about, we talked previously about the Old Gods of Appalachia RPG, or Appalachia. Wes is going to kill me if I keep saying Appalachia. The Old Gods of Appalachia RPG. And Gizmodo...
Also, I was going to say that's a regional thing. So
yeah, I know.
Because if you're... a lot of people here say Appalachians.
Yeah.
Appalachia is how I always say it, but it's a regional thing.
Gizmodo got a first look at some of the illustrations from the book, and it looks beautiful, and we have the slideshow here. We have this that's just titled as The Preacher. We have In the Mines. Small towns and isolated settlements are under the influence of mining and rail companies, some of which have felt the corrupt touch of the dark. And the encroachment has also riled beings of the green, things we might not consider evil, but can definitely be predatory.
You can see him back here.
Yeah. Oh, that's spooky. I didn't even see that the first time I looked at these. That's a real hidden in the background.
I was gonna say that my monitor might not be showing it great, but he's like back here with little glowy eyes. Also, I love mine art. Mm-hmm. Gonna be real, as someone who grew up in a heavy coal mining area, I used to go to the coal mine every year for fun, for a tour, because I'm from a mining area. Mm-hmm. But yeah,
I love these. The gray ladies. Yeah.
I like this fucking tentacle in the background.
Yeah, this is a podcast I still haven't started, and I need to start it, and I need to listen to it because I know a lot of people love it. A lot of people are really excited for this. It's using the Cypher system, I believe.
I know that
if I
system
remember correctly. I don't either. Is Monty Cook still commissioning art before he gets around to writing the game? Or did he actually work on the game before the Kickstarter this time? That feels like a spicy take that I don't know the context for, Brian. I'm not going to lie. What did Monty Cook kickstart before?
Yeah, that's a good question. I really don't know. It sounds like, you got some inner workings here that I'm unfamiliar with.
If you like Appalachian spookiness, please play Kentucky Route Zero. I have Kentucky Route Zero. I just haven't played it yet.
I've actually played through most of it, and I do really enjoy it. I'd also,
Broken Face. Oh,
definitely spooky Appalachia there. Yeah, the spooky
probably should
face.
Put a content warning above this. I meant to do that, and I forgot to make a note for it. But yeah, it's spooky horror shit. She is the light.
Oh,
that is
cool
beautiful and terrifying. I love this so much. You don't have to read everything I write.
We care about your opinions,
though,
Brian.
Tell us
one moment.
I'm
excited. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. Let us know.
We're excited for.
I want the hot takes.
Yeah, we want the hot takes. Maybe we'll have you on CCN one week, and you can do some real hot takes.
See, if we were set up like we normally are, I could have just quickly Googled it to find out what Brian was talking about, but it's very hard for how we have things set up.
My keyboard's over there, so. Tea time, exactly.
Yeah,
always down for tea time.
Bones and Branch effigy.
Yo, this is dope. I don't know what is going on here, but I'm into this. Yeah, I've also never listened to the Old Gods of Appalachia podcast. Even though I'm from Appalachia, this sounds like something I'd be interested in.
That is a head that has exploded into tree branches is what's happened.
Okay, sick.
Yeah, you see the arms? He's got arms and he's like holding the antlers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm here for it. I enjoy reading the spicy takes. Absolutely.
Yeah, give me the spicy takes. Oh, that's it.
The eighth slide is just check out these other slideshows.
Hey, there's a new Slayer in the latest comic from the Buffy universe.
Get the fuck out of here. Going back. Highly recommend. All right, Damara, I appreciate that. Yeah. I will remember that for the future.
Yeah, there's some really cool stuff there to look down. At. It's a game I'm really excited for, and I know a lot of people are excited for it, and I'm also excited to see Brian's spicy takes. But while Brian is bringing that to us, I have one more piece of tabletop news for you all.
I've heard of Numenera, so yeah, Brian says Monty Cook Games, Numenera, Invisible Sun, No Thank You, Evil, and The Strange. I've definitely heard of Numenera.
I've heard of Numenera, but I don't know what it is.
I don't know what the drama was.
Well, a lot of people saying Moxley might go back to WWE, but to me, no chance in hell. I mean, never say never, but he wrote a book about unhappy in WWE.
Oh, absolutely. I've read John Moxley's book, and he was incredibly unhappy and just felt like he was so limited creatively. I completely agree with you, Marcus. Devil May Cry. I don't think John Moxley would go back. I think it would take a lot for John Moxley to go back. I'm honestly even surprised Cody Rhodes went back. That still seems weird to me, but I'm assuming there was some like inner drama because Cody was just so high up. I'm assuming there was some weird drama probably like at that level. But I don't think Moxley would go back either. I'm surprised that there's people are saying that Moxley would go back. I don't, especially because Moxley has like so much freedom here. Mm-hmm. Like I saw Moxley with GCW in January. It was cold. So I don't expect that either. I would be really surprised if Moxley went back. So totally agree with you. And I think they just give so much freedom for you to like pop around to different indie leagues while you're wrestling. So I think that's awesome.
Brian says, I know with Numenera, he didn't even start the game besides some basic concepts before he went to Kickstarter. I think that was also the case with the self-published games after as well. Yeah, that seems to be a frequent thing that comes up with Kickstarter sometimes, where the ideas are there, but nothing is actually ready to be worked on until the Kickstarter's done.
Yeah, absolutely.
Which causes a lot of issues when that happens. Hey, speaking of tabletop games that aren't being received well, the Dark Souls tabletop RPG has come under fire from players following its recent release, with criticism aimed at a number of mistakes, incoherent rules, and other seemingly widespread errors throughout its physical book. The errors reportedly range from the fairly small, such as spelling mistakes and typos, to those that potentially have an effect on gameplay, including apparent rules oversights and inconsistencies. One more glaring example spotted by players, the Knight class cannot begin the game with the 16 strength points required to use the Knight armor specified as its starting equipment. In a similar case, the Caster Origin, one of 4 backgrounds selected during character creation that influence starting stats and abilities, doesn't have enough strength to wield the Cleric class's starting weapon, despite being recommended as a suitable origin for the class. Other rules appear to directly counteract the apparent benefit of spells and abilities. The Fall Control spell requires the player to make a dexterity saving throw against their own spell difficulty class, resulting in a situation where the spell becomes more difficult to successfully cast as the character becomes stronger. Meanwhile, the ability of the Firelink Greatsword weapon requires the player to spend 2 points of position, the game's equivalent of hit points, to heal just 1 point of position, making its effect redundant. So sacrificing 2 hit points to heal 1 hit point. Meanwhile, being reduced to 0 position immediately results in a character's death, but a healer's kit item mentioned later in the book is described as stabilizing a character on 0 position. There's a lot more. It just seems like an absolute mess. Honestly, once the Dark Souls RPG was confirmed to just be using 5th edition, but also completely changing everything about 5th edition to make it fit instead of just making a game. I don't know. I didn't have much high hopes for it to begin with. Yeah, it's fine. I got it. Okay. I'll just go off camera for a second.
I was going to try and pick it up with my toes.
That's all right. I didn't have much high hopes for the system in general once it was announced, but all of these just blatant errors in the mechanics is fucking wild to me.
Yeah, I get emails for this game all the time, and I don't know what I did to deserve this punishment, but I should really probably unsubscribe from them, but I do keep reading their weird updates. I don't know how I got put on that list. I don't own this game. I didn't kickstart this game. But yeah, this sounds messy. Like, this sounds pretty hilarious, and it just sounds like, I'm wondering, like, what game designer they even had on it, or, like, or how rushed this is. But yeah, also fun fact about Monty Cook. Monty Cook is probably best known for the senior designer on D&D 3E and was going to be a senior designer on 5e, but had creative differences with Wizards of the Coast and left the project.
Okay.
Makes sense.
I'm checking to see if they talk about who the publisher was. Steamforged Games.
Steamforged Games. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I'm getting emails from Steamforged Games. I don't know what else they've made. I guess I could look that up.
It's definitely a name I'm like familiar with.
I know the name, but doesn't really answer my thing or answer why I am getting these emails. Let me look that up real quick, just because now I'm curious what else they have done.
I think they did Dark Souls the board game.
They did.
It looks like they're doing a lot of
Horizon
licensed
Zero
board games.
Dawn board game?
A RuneScape board game.
A RuneScape?
Sonic the Hedgehog card game. Wild.
Bananas. Oh, Monster Hunter World, the board game.
Wild. A lot of licensed board games that probably aren't very good. I remember playing a little bit of the Dark Souls board game and not having a good time with it. Also, fun article, the Dark Souls tabletop RPG could solve one of Dungeons & Dragons' biggest problems. Apparently not. Past article. About Steamforged Games.
That's amazing. Rip. I love that.
Cool. I don't think I have anything else to say about this. It's clown shit.
I do like how messy it is. I do like that it's like in a published rule set. I mean, when it's in a published rule set like that, I think that kind of means you probably didn't super play test your game.
Yeah, it's the real modern day video game experience
early access,
of being handed a broken game.
They just really wanted you to experience Dark Souls the way we all experience it, where it's broken for the first 3 months, and like you hit a point in the game where it just doesn't work. This is just Blighttown all over again, where the game just doesn't work when you hit a certain point. And they need to patch it. So there's going to be a patch coming out. Don't worry. We're going to print you a brand new book and send it to you in the patch. What they're going to do is they're going to print out pages of whatever's messed up. And then you have to like rebind the book and insert them yourselves.
Did you ever, when you were in high school, did they ever give you like the spring supplement for yearbooks, where they would publish the yearbooks early, but like at my school, a couple years they published a yearbook that didn't have like anything that happened in the spring in it because of how the publishing happened. So the next year you could buy the spring supplement, and it would come as like just a bunch of pages that you like glued into the back of the yearbook.
That's so.
It was only a couple of years that happened, but
that's gonna be the Dark Souls patch. Is we're gonna just be gluing a book back into the other book. Or you're gonna get like they're gonna send you a hole puncher, but like one of the hole punchers where you have to like individually punch out the holes, and then a binder, and they'll let you know how to rebind your book with the binder.
It's just real.
It's hilarious.
It's wild. Anyway, are you ready to move on to film and TV news?
Absolutely.
Cool.
Because you know what? Disney Plus has found its Percy Jackson. Walker Scoble from the Adam Project has landed the title role in Percy Jackson and the Olympians, a series adaptation of author Rick Riordan's best-selling novels. I'm going to be real, I haven't read these books. I also don't know this person. Riordan, an executive producer of the series, announced the news Monday morning on his website. His statement was, Walker Scoble is an incredibly talented young man who blew us away with his audition tapes for the role of Percy. Many of you recently discovered how great Walker is when you watched his movie, The Adam Project, in which Walker lit up the screen as a younger version of Ryan Reynolds' character. We were fortunate enough to audition Walker months before that movie came out, but the film only confirmed what we already knew about his talent. It was obvious to me and the rest of the team that Walker had the perfect mix of comedic timing, sweetness, rebelliousness, snark, and heroicism to embody our hero Percy Jackson. How do you feel about Percy Jackson? Are you excited for this TV show?
Percy Jackson is a series of books that I apparently need to read because they missed me growing up.
They missed me growing up too.
But I know a lot of people really, really fucking love them and stand by them even to this day.
I'm gonna look up what the Adam Project was about because
the Adam Project is about Ryan Reynolds going back in time and meeting his younger self. I haven't actually watched it, but I know that's like the main premise is Ryan Reynolds' character accidentally traveling back in time and meeting his kid self, who is played by Walker Scoble. I've seen some clips on TikTok, but I haven't watched the movie all the way through. Is it not Looper? Is he not trying to kill himself? I don't know. Okay. I don't think so. It's a Netflix movie.
Okay. All right.
Let us know in the chat if you watched the Adam Project. If he's doing a Looper.
Is he doing a Looper? Do we have to kill our past selves? Yeah, it just says, he's trying to team up with his 12-year-old self for a mission to save the future. So he goes back in time on accident and is trying to save the future.
That makes sense.
This Percy Jackson actor was very funny in the Adam Project. Well, I'm glad you thought they were funny, Brian. That's cool to hear. I have not watched the Adam Project, but maybe I will now. I don't know.
Yeah, I've heard it's really good. I've heard Walker Scobell's really funny.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm excited for the Percy Jackson movies to come out because then I don't have to read a book. Just kidding. I like reading, and I'll probably read the books anyway. But also, I don't have a lot of time, and movies are easier to consume nowadays.
To me, I imagine those books probably wouldn't take a lot of time since they're like.
That's
young
true.
Adult
They're
books,
also young adult novels.
Yeah, I bet they're
and
probably fine.
The last book series I tried to make my way through was The Wheel of Time, which is really
I have that on my end table.
Skewed my perception on how long books take to get through. Well,
Wheel of Time is an epic fantasy book, so I wouldn't.
Yeah.
That's a rough comparison there.
Yeah.
Same with Dune. I'm reading the Dune books. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I'll have to go back and read Percy Jackson. I'll try to read it before the movies come out.
Glad to know that Ryan Reynolds was not going back in time to try and kill his younger self.
Yeah.
I'm going to be real. Also, I really like the movie Looper, so that's why I brought it up.
I have not seen Looper. W-O-T...
Wheel of Time.
Wheel of Time, yes. Yeah. Yes.
I'm still reading the first book very slowly.
I have officially given up. Just starting like the 4th or 5th book.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough.
Yeah. It's, Wheel of Time is fun. But... it's good. Sorry. Now we're on Wheel of Time. Wheel of Time is a good book series that I enjoyed what I read of it, but then heard too much about how it gets and how like the middle 5 books nothing happens, and I'm like, well, I don't want to do that. Why would I do that to myself? It's one long book published in sections. Yeah.
That's funny because that's how I'm reading 1Q84 right now too, the Haruki Murakami book, and that's literally how that book is. It's technically one book that they published in 3 separate books.
Okay. I think that was the original intention of Lord of the Rings too. J.R. Tolkien wanted to publish it as one thing.
Yeah.
Same thing. Books are cool. Anyway, hey, I have some more
books
news for you.
Books are cool.
Hey kids. Hold on. I can't sit backwards. I don't have a hat.
No, we can't. There's no.
Pretend my beat is on backwards.
We're sitting on stools.
Hey kids, reading's cool. My best after-school Sonic voice.
That was a pretty good after-school Sonic voice.
Anyway, Ryan Coogler and his production banner Proximity Media have joined the creative team of Ironheart, Marvel's Disney Plus series featuring the titular Iron Man adjacent character. At the same time, the show has firmed up its filmmaking talent, hiring Sam Bailey and Angela Barnes as directors. Dominique Thorne is toplining Ironheart, playing Riri Williams, which is a very hard name to say apparently, a brilliant teenage inventor who in the comics builds her own version of the Iron Man suit in an MIT dorm. Anthony Ramos, which we talked about previously, and Lyric Ross are also cast in the series that has Chinaka Hodge, who served as a staff writer on TNT's Snowpiercer series as head writer. Bailey will direct episodes 1 through 3, while Barnes will helm the back half, episodes 4 to 6. This is not a lot of news about the content of the Ironheart series, such as who Anthony Ramos will be playing, which is something we speculated in the first episode of Carrying Comfort News. But they have directors now, and Ryan Coogler is attached. Ryan Coogler, famous for... Why am I blanking?
Isn't
Black Panther?
Yeah, because didn't Ryan Coogler do Black Panther?
Yep. I forgot the name of Black Panther. Sorry. There's a lot of stuff swirling up around here, and sometimes you forget the obvious things.
Hold on, I'm also gonna Google because I think
Ryan Coogler was also arrested recently for trying to make a bank transaction.
Yeah, also did the first Creed.
Yes.
Which I love the first. I'm gonna be real. I love the first Creed movie. Second one is still good. I still really like the second Creed movie. He didn't do the second Creed movie.
The Ironheart character is going to be in Black Panther too. Oh shit! Really?
That's
sick.
Cool.
I didn't know that. Thanks, Brian.
Yeah, actually, he did do. I don't think he was the full lead on Creed 2.
Mm-hmm.
But I love the Creed. I love the Creed movies. I think Creed is great.
Ryan Coogler was trying to make a bank transaction.
Oh yeah.
He was withdrawing a significant amount of money, and passed a note to the teller asking her to be discreet, because he didn't want a lot of attention, because he was withdrawing a lot of money. And what the teller did was call the cops, because she claimed she thought she was being robbed. That happened about a month ago, I think. You can Google it.
In Atlanta, I think.
Yeah, I think it was in Atlanta. I don't have the story right up in front of me, but you can search it. You can read more details there. He was let go very quickly.
But still, fucked up.
Yeah, fucking wild.
Wasted a person's time. Good job. I'm glad I'm talking about this next news article.
Yeah, hit me up.
There's news from Variety that has heard from two well-informed sources that David Lynch is going to premiere a secret and completely off-the-radar feature film at Cannes in May this year. And all we know is that this rumored film is Lauren Dern will be in it. Social media immediately started, buzzing about this. Oh, hey, thanks, formerly known as Enemy for the raid. Appreciate you. I hope your stream went well. Hold on, I'll give you a shout-out in 1 second. Because I'm reading the news right now.
Do you want me to read this so you can do the shout out?
Actually, you should probably read this anyway because you're the David Lynch person.
Yeah, I am. Yeah,
I've seen
do the shout out.
I've seen one David Lynch.
So this secret worked on film was announced. All that was known was that Laura Dern would be in it. Social media started buzzing and speculating, as Leslie said. However, during a conversation with the AV Club about the theatrical re-release of a remastered version of Inland Empire, Lynch was asked about this secret film, to which David Lynch said, "I have no film at Cannes, no. In fact, no one has ever even asked me that. You're the first person that's actually asked me, David, do you have a film at Cannes? I say no, I don't have a film at Cannes." Pressed as to whether he had something else, not a film perhaps, but a TV pilot or other special project that would make its bow at the festival, he sounded definitive. "I'm not trying to trick you. I have nothing at Cannes. But there will be something new from somebody else. It wasn't me, though. It isn't me." So, the big speculation is that this might be something being presented by a different Lynch, such as David Lynch's daughter. It is not confirmed or well known. Even the fact that David Lynch was going to have a film was a rumor that Variety had gotten from two well-informed sources, as Leslie said at the beginning of the story. Who knows? David Lynch hasn't made a film since 2006, unless you count, as I do, Twin Peaks: The Return, which is an 18-hour film distributed on television.
I've watched Blue Velvet, and I've watched the very first episode of Twin Peaks. That's what I got for you.
I adore Twin Peaks.
I'm aware.
I'm following this pretty closely because I'm curious what's going to happen. David Lynch might just be lying. Which wouldn't be that much of a surprise.
I kind of hope he published it under a different name and it's LYNCH or something like that.
LYNCH.
I watched Blue Velvet by myself. It was weird.
And Glow. I watched Blue Velvet by myself. Makes sense. It was weird. Yeah.
I watched it with Wes during movie club, and Kay was also there. I don't know if Kay's in the chat, but Kay was there, and Kay fell asleep. And Wes and I felt like we couldn't talk, so we just completely silently watched Blue Velvet. Silent, dead silent.
To be honest, I have not watched a David Lynch movie outside of the actual Twin Peaks movie, Fire Walk With Me, which was the prequel / sequel to the TV series / interquel. Twin Peaks is a weird series.
I also need to watch Twin Peaks with people. I absolutely get that. I watched the first episode with a group of friends, and now I want to watch more of it, but
it's so good.
I want to watch it with other people. I don't
That's
want to
adorable.
watch. Wait, which is adorable?
I don't know. Brian, what's adorable?
That I've only seen one David Lynch movie, or that's always only consumed Twin Peaks?
I've only consumed Twin Peaks by David Lynch.
I feel like either of us could be considered cute. Or adorable.
Oh, that's not true. David Lynch did Eraserhead. I've seen Eraserhead.
Okay.
I've seen Eraserhead.
Nope. That's the thing you'll learn about me when I go on this show. I don't watch movies. I'm improving that. I will say I'm greatly improving that, but... we'll talk about movies in a little bit, actually.
That you didn't want to wake Kay up.
Oh, that I didn't want to... Yeah, we felt like we couldn't talk, so we just, sat there in silence, and I didn't... Kay slept through the entire movie, even when the screaming started happening, and the discussion of Pabst Blue Ribbon, Kay is passed out, and I was just wow, I'm impressed. I don't remember if Kay muted the stream, or, just had it that quiet, but Kay was dead asleep. And it's just Wes and I silently watching Blue Velvet. Yep. So, other fun news, another thing that I've never consumed and probably never will, Riverdale star KJ Apa and 1883 star Isabel May are set to headline DC's live-action Wonder Twins movie. The casting news comes by way of Deadline, with Apa slated to play Zan and May playing Jaina. I'm going to be real, don't know anything about the Wonder Twins. I was a DC comic kid, but I mostly just consumed Batman and the Flash.
You don't remember Form of a Shark? Form of a Bucket of Water?
Yeah, I have that. Uh-huh. That's all I got.
And the monkey?
That's all I got.
Do you remember the monkey?
No.
Have you ever watched Riverdale?
No.
KJ Apa is very good
I'm gonna Google
in
this person.
a TV show that has middling to bad writing. I think most of the cast on that show honestly does the best they can with the material given to them. But I enjoy KJ Apa as an actor. I think he's good.
Glad it revitalized the career of the one Sprout twin.
Yeah, Cole Sprouse.
Yeah, and now he's just weird.
He is super weird, and I love it.
Here for it.
I'm into it.
I don't even care if it's fake. Like I support you. Do what you gotta do.
Yeah, so if you are a Wonder Twins fan, that is some exciting casting news for you. It's going, Wonder Twins is coming from writer-director Adam Steichel, who is writing and directing Black Adam.
Oh, okay. Yeah. I am actually pretty excited for Black Adam.
Yeah.
I think that seems like it's gonna be neat. I don't know. I was thinking about like how I feel about the DC movies, and I haven't watched the Suicide Squad. Oh no, I did watch Suicide Squad. I forgot. I did recently watch that, and I thought that movie was weird as hell.
The first one or second one?
The first one.
Okay.
I watched the first one because I've never watched any of them.
Mm-hmm.
So I watched the first one. I thought it was wild, kind of whack. But I also just hate Jared Leto.
Yeah.
Not hate. Hate's a strong word. I dislike Jared Leto.
He's a creeper.
Right. But yeah. So I watched that, and I don't know. I loved the new Batman movie with Robert Pattinson. I love that movie deeply. So I don't know. I'm a little more excited to see some more DC movies.
Yeah, I'll say
I watched Batman versus Superman on a plane and was really confused. But then I've talked with a few people who were like, "Oh, if you watch, the full version, it makes a lot more sense because they cut out so much weird shit."
I really like the recent DC movies I've seen. Like the new Suicide Squad movie was really good. Mm-hmm. Birds of Prey I thought was really good.
I haven't seen Birds of Prey either.
Shazam was a lot of fun.
I also haven't seen Shazam.
I like Shazam a lot. I'm trying to think of what other DC movies were like in that universe, because the new Batman obviously isn't part of that. Although I also really like Robert Pattinson as Batman.
I forget that that's not part of that universe, weirdly, and it's its own.
It's weird. Honestly, I'm here for more movies that don't take place in a shared universe. If I'm being perfectly honest, it's getting very exhausting.
Yeah, not everything has to live together.
That's a hot take, but like the fact that I don't know, you kind of see what happens with that with like the advertisement for Morbius, where they're implying it takes place in like 4 different universes, to the point where even the trailers are incomprehensible.
That was fair. Yeah, that was confusing.
Yeah. And then Morbius was just a bad movie, so
good.
Surprise, surprise.
Not good. Morbius seems like a cool character. Not someone who I've ever read anything comic-wise. Or consumed content of, but I don't know.
Morbius deserved better than Jared Leto.
Morbius did deserve better than Jared Leto. I don't feel like Jared Leto is a good fit for most of the characters that he gets assigned, or like put into. So I don't know. Yeah, could have picked someone better. Anyway, so now we're on to, we don't have a game this week, because Zoe and I have been doing other things.
Yeah. We're going to talk about those things. So, do we want to talk about the room first, or do we want to talk about everything everywhere? Let's talk about the room.
Everything everywhere all the time.
So, okay. I have been... We're going to talk about the media we've been consuming,
so
which is something we've always talked about doing in this show, but then we always run over time with the game, so we never really have time for it. So I have been a fan of The Room since 2012 is the first time I saw it, and I fell in love with it. It is if you have never seen The Room, it is one of those so bad it's good movies. There has been a lot of effort from the writer, director, producer, and star, Tommy Wiseau, to rebrand it as a black comedy, as something that was made bad on purpose. I promise you that was not purposeful. It was intended as a serious drama, and it is not. It is very funny. So I've been a fan of it since 2012. Leslie has never seen it.
I'd never seen it. I happen to be like, I don't remember how, I think I was looking at movies to come see, to take someone to go see my favorite theater. And I happened to see tickets for The Room, and my friend was no longer going to be here, so I messaged Zoe and our friend Bobby, and I was like, do you guys want to go see The Room? Because I remember having conversations with people, and people loving The Room, and they were like, yeah, sure, and then the tickets ended up being kind of expensive when I bought them, and I was like, that's weird. They were like $20, and I was like, that's really strange, because usually we went to, so there's a small theater in Philly called The Ritz, and they show a lot of, like, foreign films, or, like, independent films. Like, I saw Parasite there. I saw Pig there. Like, I saw a bunch of like smaller films there, and lots of foreign films. And I was like, that's weird, the tickets were $20. And then all of a sudden, I think Bobby messaged us the one day and was like, oh my god, there's a Q&A with Tommy Wiseau. So I accidentally bought tickets that had a Q&A with Tommy Wiseau beforehand. It turns out that like all the 3 showings that day had Q&A with Tommy Wiseau beforehand. So it's not like we could have seen a version without the Q&A. So I take us to go to the Ritz. I actually accidentally took us to the wrong theater at first. I took us to the Boars, which is another small theater in Philadelphia that I love, which we can bring up later because we saw Everything Everywhere All at Once at the Boars. But so it took us to the Boars. I was at the wrong theater. We walked to the Ritz. We were not the only people who fucked up and went to the Boars instead of the Ritz.
The second we figured out we were supposed to go to a different theater, 2 people walked up, one in a "You're Tearing Me Apart" Lisa shirt, and the other one dressed up in a tux holding a football, which if you're familiar with the Room, you will know why that second one was immediately clocked as a Room cosplay.
But yeah, luckily the theaters are only like a 5-minute walk apart, so we just walked over to go to our actual showing, which had a massive line around the building, and we were very confused at first. We were like, okay, like, why is this line so big? Turns out, if you wanted to buy merch, if you wanted to meet Tommy Wiseau, you could, but you had to purchase merch. You had to volunteer to purchase merchandise, stand in line, purchase merchandise, and then you could meet Tommy Wiseau.
Yeah, he was set up behind like a big plastic shield, and
he was
you
in
could
like a glass cube.
You could go say hi.
You could go say hi to Tommy Wiseau if you bought merch. We didn't get to see the merch table because it was actually packed. Super busy, which is nice. I mean, it's nice to see like a small independent theater do well. And so we opted to just do the Q&A and watch the movie rather than buy merch because we didn't know what merch we were going to be buying.
Yeah.
Even though now that I know that Tommy Wiseau sells underwear, maybe I would have bought a pair of underwear.
He sure does. You go to TommyWiseau.com, you can pick up some Tommy Wiseau branded underwear.
Yeah. Maybe I would, if that was the kind of merch I would have had to buy, maybe I would have been on board. But yeah.
Yeah. But then he did, so we went into the theater instead, and Tommy Wiseau did come in for the Q&A. That man does not know how to use a microphone.
No.
But he was super, you know what? He was everything I expected him to be.
Okay, that's good.
Based on everything that I've learned about him and, you know, his behavior in the film The Room. I
had no opinions of this man. I will say that I had no idea who Tommy Wiseau was. I knew Bobby and Zoe were very hyped to meet Tommy Wiseau. I think Bobby has a crush on Tommy Wiseau. I say that nice, like, no, I'm not like poking fun or anything. I'm just saying like blatantly, like I think that is a fact. I was confused. I did not understand anything. He came in, answered I think one question, then said, "Don't worry, I have something to show you," and then sat down, and then it was silent in the theater for 2 to 4 minutes, just silent, while we waited for something to happen. And then we saw a trailer for Tommy Wiseau's new movie that's eventually coming out. That's a horror movie called Big Shark.
Big Shark.
And it was a lot of really weirdly CGI'd in sharks attacking people on land. And then we saw a commercial for the underwear. The first commercial for the underwear.
And then they played the commercial again before the movie.
Yeah, they played the commercial one more time before the movie. And then Tommy answered a couple questions. I don't remember what the questions were.
There was something like, what was a favorite childhood memory?
The childhood memory one was cute. Hey,
trying to dehydrate fruit by putting it in the oven and almost burning his house down.
Yeah, that was cute. Yeah. And then someone else asked a question. My cat's being destructive. Give me one. Oh, he stopped. And then he answered another question and then asked a kind of follow-up question that was like, why do you think this is the way that it is? And someone said America, and he got like a locket. He got like a locket that had some kind of weird inscription on it, and then the back, it was from The Room, or had to do with The Room.
It was from one of the anniversary parties of The Room.
It was from one of the anniversary parties, and it had an inscription on the back that was like, "Be good but do better," something like that. And
Tommy Wiseau is famously pro-America.
Yeah, because the answer the person gave to get the locket was America.
Pro-America, super pro the English language, to the point where he does not use any foreign language words in his movies, which is why if you watch The Room, you'll notice they frequently say future wife and future husband a lot instead of the word fiancé, because fiancé is not an English language word, so Tommy Wiseau will not have it in his movie. Tommy Wiseau also famously very anxious about the French language. If you read the book about the making of The Room, The Disaster Artist, where Greg Sestero, who plays Mark in The Room, brought Tommy Wiseau to meet his mother, who is French, from France, is French, speaks French, started speaking French at Tommy because Tommy at the time had claimed to, I don't remember if it was be from France or at least speak French, but when Greg Sestera's mother started speaking French at him, Tommy Wiseau got visibly uncomfortable and excused himself.
That makes sense for this person.
Yeah.
So we watched The Room. This was my first time ever seeing The Room.
Yeah, what did you think?
I've also never seen, I'll say this is a follow-up because every time I've talked about seeing The Room, people have been like, oh, it's also like seeing Rocky Horror Picture Show in person. And I've never seen that. I've never seen a movie with like this kind of performative, like audience participation aspect. It was really fun and strange. That movie is awful. Like as an actual film is terrible. The sex scenes are awful and so weird. I've never heard more people talking about fucking the belly button. Do we have this? This is tagged as a mature show, right? I don't know.
Yeah, probably.
Like, just so bizarre. Calling the female... Oh my god, go away. I hope you all heard Garrus. He's unhappy because he wants to be on the desk. Does the room have audience participation? Absolutely.
Yes.
Everyone cheered every time we saw water.
Cheer water. Water. Go, 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 go,
and then, well, no, when they were like, when we were panning across the, because it's the
San Francisco?
The Red Bridge.
Uh-huh.
What is that?
The Bay Bridge?
Bay Bridge. Is that what that bridge is called?
I think so.
We're panning, so the camera would like pan across the bridge from left to right periodically, and everyone would just be like, go, 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 go. And it was like the weirdest thing. Yeah, there's like a spoon in a picture frame at one point
There are multiple pictures set up in the house that they film in that are just framed pictures of spoons, and every time they come up, you yell spoon and throw plastic spoons. Fun fact, real quick, the first time I saw this in a movie theater, the theater did not understand what they had purchased the rights to when the room was going on like a tour, I guess, to the point where they turned the movie off and told us to stop shouting because people were trying to watch the movie, and then someone got up and followed the employee outside the theater to explain nobody was here to watch the movie. People were here to shout at the movie and throw things. And then they let us be loud again. But
yeah, there's like a whole... Yeah, we were all heckling the movie. We were saying that the one character's mother was a whore. I don't know what was happening. A lot of it. Also, the acting is pretty atrocious. So you can just laugh at that. And how many times they said, but he was my best friend. But he's Tommy's best friend. Johnny's best friend.
Fucking Lisa, like, in the sexy revealing dress with candles lit, rubbing Mark's back. What's going on here?
Or, like, so the big thing is, like, Lisa is this character Johnny's fiance, and the mother wants Lisa to stay with Johnny because Johnny's, like, financially stable and seems like a good person, and Lisa's like, but I don't love him anymore. And then she decides to start sleeping with his best friend, and at one point in time, they're, like, they had already engaged in an affair, and they start having another affair, and he's like, you've set up... Or was this the first time when he's like, you set up this music? And the crowd goes, what music? These candles? What candles? Because there's literally nothing. It's
the
like
sexy dress? What sexy dress?
She's not wearing a sexy dress. She has, like... It's like a gray backdrop almost, and it looks dark and kind of dingy. And he's just like, you set up all this beautiful ambiance for me to seduce me. What are you doing? But there's nothing there. So, like, obviously, I think they were going to film that scene in a different setting, but didn't change the script at all.
Almost certainly.
Then it's like, there's like a child involved.
Danny/Denny.
Danny slash Denny.
Danny/Denny, who is a actor who is probably in his 30s, playing a person who I think is supposed to be 17 or 18. If you don't have a theater near you that does midnight showings for Rocky Horror, the more recent recording for TV incorporated some of the audience participants. Yeah, the one with what's Laverne Cox?
Okay, yeah. I bet you that theater probably does do Rocky Horror showings. I've just never looked for them because I didn't know this was a thing. And I think I've seen, like, showings in the city of, like, come see Rocky Horror at midnight. And I was like, I don't know what the fuck this is about. And then I didn't do it.
We should go see Rocky Horror at midnight.
We can go see Rocky Horror.
We can do that next time and talk about it.
Yeah, we can do that next time and talk about it on the next CCN. But yeah, I had no idea what to expect going in. Bobby and Zoe were incredibly stoked. I imagine if I had watched this movie at home, I would not have the same feelings that I have currently.
No. It is definitely not a movie you can watch the first time by yourself. You have to watch it with people who know what's going on.
I don't even know. I feel like being at home, I still would not have the same feelings because I feel like I would have lost so much of that, like, audience participation. We made a couple of jokes. I absolutely recommend going to see Brian, I'll keep my eyes peeled and put it at the top of my list. I think they do. I want to say they do. I think they do it around Halloween. I feel like that's when I've seen it. At least here in Philly. They probably do it other times, but I definitely think I've seen it at midnight. I think they also might do it at the drive-in when the drive-in opens up, because Philly actually has a drive-in now.
Oh, cool.
And I think I've seen it at the drive-in too, and I was just like, I don't know what this is. Classic me. I forgot what we were talking about. We're talking about The Room.
Yeah.
I forget what other... I made another joke, and people were laughing at it. It was very good. Did I make a polycule joke?
I think so, maybe.
I think I did make a polycule joke, which makes sense.
I won't lie.
I won't either, because that was a week ago. And now my brain is occupied with other things. But it was super fun. It was so weird. Yeah, but if you hear people say that The Room is a fun, goofy movie, please don't try to watch it by yourself. See if you can find a theater showing it. Yeah. So I think you're going to be disappointed, because it's awful. Yeah, the sex scenes were weird. Oh, yeah, the Denny Danny thing.
Right.
We're talking about Denny Danny. 30-year-old, and he's playing, like...
2 is the party, but 3 is the crowd, eh?
Oh, yeah, because he's like, Johnny and Lisa are trying to hook up at one point in time, and Denny, like, burst into the house and was like, how's it going, friends? And then Johnny's just trying to get the kid to be like,
trying to
beat
make him
it.
a Kramer. There's just this awkward kid that's not actually a kid. And then there's just a random part in the middle of the movie where he gets accosted by a drug dealer because he doesn't have the person's money. What's her... Jay, what's that character's name? Do you remember?
No.
It's something ridiculous. It's like a letter initial and then a word. It's a very stereotypical drug dealer name. But there's a whole story in The Disaster Artist about how the person cast in that role was the only one who was trying to take acting seriously. Like, he was a serious, aspiring actor. He came and, like, he was, like, deep in character, not in like the shitty method way that Jared Leto is, but like he was like in character the moment he stepped in on set. He was taking his role very seriously, and you can kind of see it in the movie because he's the only like decent actor. He does in the whole
hassle
movie.
Danny pretty well, but the other weird
Chris
thing
is Chris R. That's his name.
So the thing about Danny is like all of a sudden it's like revealed that like Johnny has kind of adopted Danny, but like Danny looks like he's like 30 and does not need to be adopted and shepherded in this way. But I guess he's still in high school and is like, or no, he's in college. He says something about paying tuition. Johnny pays his tuition at one point in time.
Yeah, so he might be like just in college.
Yeah,
like getting ready to go to college.
Just in college, but something weird. And then like he gets into drugs for a brief stint. The mom also, like, Lisa's mom at one point in time gets diagnosed with breast cancer. You hear about it that one time and you never hear about it again.
It's definitely the cancer.
All you hear about it is like... All you hear about from her mom is how she should marry Johnny, and she's like, marriage isn't about love, sweetie. And then the whole audience just yells, that's because you're a whore. Like, absolutely wild. I don't even know. It was so bananas. That movie's awful, but like fun with this audience participation aspect. We were counting how many they throw a football around a bunch of times, and then we counted how many times they threw the football around
in their tuxedos.
But it was fun. I enjoyed The Room. I'm not gonna watch The Room on my own time ever.
That's fair.
Maybe if I get really stoned, I will. That sounds like a thing to do stoned, but I'm not gonna do that sober. In my own home.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was really silly. I do want to watch The Disaster Artist now because I'm very curious like how that movie is.
Yeah. The Disaster Artist. The movie cuts some things from the book and makes Tommy Wiseau more sympathetic than he really is, because Tommy Wiseau's kind of a fucking monster.
Yeah. I already got that vibe when I saw that.
Let me. To put it out there, The Room has a lot of anti-women sentiments that definitely come from Tommy Wiseau's own perception of women. Tommy Wiseau's not a good person.
I mean, a man who shows up wearing 4 studded belts, does not seem like a good person. He wears sunglasses inside, and when someone asked him why, he said, do what you want. And I was like... Do what
you want, because this is America.
Yeah. Oh, God.
Oh, boy.
But yeah, that was fun. I enjoyed that experience. Like I said, I wouldn't recommend you go seek that movie out, but it's fun.
I would. Go seek it out.
Go seek it out for like a screening, or like have like a couple of people over who maybe have already seen it to make it fun for you. Because I think if you watched it with like even one other person, it probably wouldn't have the same impact. Because that movie's just weird as shit. The sex scenes are awful. My other favorite fact that Zoe told me during the movie is Lisa only filmed one sex scene with Tommy or Johnny, the character, because it was so awful.
It was so awful and awkward. She refused to film any more scenes because there were like 2 more sex scenes with Lisa and Johnny. And they just reused footage.
Also, that was funny because like her hair is up and then her hair is down and then her hair is up and then her hair is down.
I think it's from night to day to night to day.
Oh yeah, night to day, night to day. Like there's just weird shit like that where it's like, what? The first time Lisa has an affair with Mark, it's on a staircase. Mm-hmm. They don't even make it all the way upstairs. They bang on the staircase and it looks horribly awkward.
Deeply uncomfortable.
Yeah, it's so bizarre. But yeah, the room was a weird time. So then, well, I'll say this. We were supposed to go see Sonic the Hedgehog together, too. Didn't work out.
My phone blew up.
Zoe's phone blew up.
Is there a smash or pass coming? Because I gotta clean the kitchen. Tommy Wiseau, smash or pass?
Pass. I'm passing immediately, yeah.
There you go, Brian.
Pass on Tommy Wiseau. Smash or pass Mark?
Smash.
Yeah, that's fair.
Wait, beard or no beard? It doesn't matter, smash.
It doesn't matter, smash, yeah.
Smash or pass Danny/Denny?
Pass. I don't understand the concept around that person or how old they are. I don't want it. Smash or pass Lisa?
Smash.
I'm gonna pass on Lisa. She is too much for me.
Smash or pass the psychiatrist character who disappears halfway through and gets replaced by a new actor.
Replaced by a new guy. Yeah, pass on that guy too.
It's very unreliable. You never know what he's gonna look like.
No. And then there was the friends. There was the friends who came and made out in their apartment while they were out.
Yeah, they make out and they're like about to fuck on their couch. They don't live here. These people don't live here. They just come into their
with
home
a box of chocolates.
Start having sex on the couch, and then Lisa and her mom walk in.
They're eating chocolates
while they're
like
each other.
They're like foreplay is eating chocolates.
Yeah. They're putting the chocolate in their mouth and making out and eating at the same time.
It's not like
it's
cute
so
little
gross.
chocolates that would be like easy to consume. But they're fucking huge. They're huge pieces of chocolate. And then, yeah, Lisa comes in with her mom, and the guy forgets his underwear, and then he tries to come back for it.
And it's a whole bit later in the alleyway.
Oh,
it's like,
yeah.
I forgot me underwear, he says. I forgot me underwear. And Johnny's just like, that's life, ha 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 ha.
It's so weird.
And then the guy falls down, and the actor like got a concussion, I think.
Oh my god, that's amazing. He did look confused.
He's one of 2 actors who got a concussion. Peter's the psychiatrist's name, because there's the scene where Peter and Mark are talking, and Peter's just like touching everything because the actor, in a scene that happens later in the movie, fell and got a concussion, and then they filmed that scene later, and he's clearly not well, and no one's doing anything about it.
I remember that, yeah.
I don't remember. They definitely talk about it in the book. I don't remember if they talk about that happening in the movie of Disaster Artist. Okay. We'll have to find out.
Yeah. So then, the other thing I did was I went to go see Sonic, because Zoe's phone broke. Sonic the Hedgehog 2 was great. I loved it. Jim Carrey, while he might not be a great person, is a phenomenal actor in this movie. I'm so glad he came out of retirement to be Robotnik. Literally, he's just in front of a green screen the whole time and like kills it. I think Idris Elba did a great job as Knuckles. It's kind of annoying they did like the himbo, like Knuckles is not intelligent. But to me, it didn't feel so much like a lot of games like Knuckles just seemed straight up dumb. To me, this just felt more like Knuckles didn't have the context for a lot of things, which was kind of okay.
That's how they portray him in like the cartoons, right? Like some of the clips I've seen with Sonic Boom, Knuckles has like that big himbo energy.
Yeah, he does have big himbo energy. Yeah, but it was very fun. I thought Idris Elba did great. I love Knuckles. Knuckles has always been my favorite character in Sonic, so I thought Idris Elba did great. I'm a big Knuckles and Rouge person when it comes to Sonic characters. But yeah, I thought the movie was super great. The teaser at the end is great. If you go see the movie, stay for the after credits scene. I don't want to spoil anything. It's great though. Another one of my favorite characters appears, who has a great video game.
Well,
who's in? I think I just ruined it.
Yeah, I think you did.
That's okay.
It's okay.
You now know.
Yeah.
It's great. You don't know what happens. It's easy to put together when you see the movie.
Smash or pass Knuckles?
I feel like this is outing myself. I don't want to reveal that.
You don't have to answer that. It's a smash for me.
It's also a smash for me. I don't know.
Yes, Banjo-Kazooie was teased at the end of Sonic 2.
Oh my god, you knew.
Yeah, how'd you know,
Brian?
Brian?
I'm so glad you knew. I'm so excited for the Banjo-Kazooie
And if they actually made a Banjo-Kazooie movie, it would probably be terrible, and I would definitely spend a lot of money to go see it.
I would love it. I'm not gonna lie. It'd probably be awful. I'd love it. I love those games. Man, maybe I should replay those games.
Yeah, you should. I recently replayed the first one because it's on the N64 expansion.
Oh, is it?
For
Okay.
Nintendo Switch Online. Yeah.
I also
and it's
own
great.
it from the Xbox collection.
Well, if you get it on the Nintendo Switch, you can make save states. So when you're doing really tricky parts like Rusty Bucket Bay, you can do a save state and move along the platform, and then if you fall, you reload.
That's
instead of wanting to strangle yourself every time you have to restart a level.
Brian, no.
Chris Pratt is playing Banjo. Brian, how do we ban Brian? Ban Brian.
What, Brian? No. Chris Pratt's not allowed in things anymore. We've already discussed this. That's why they're canceling him in the Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yeah.
Sorry, Garrett's just trying to jump up on my bed and fell, and my bed's not high. I have a low bed. Garrett's just fell off my bed.
I will see Sonic 2 eventually. I don't know when, but eventually. I was gonna try to see it before so we could talk about it, and it just didn't work out.
Anyway, we saw a movie yesterday.
Yeah,
which is
everything,
convenient.
Everywhere,
all of the time.
All of the time. All at once.
All at once.
Yeah.
I think. I'm gonna look that up before we fuck it up. Especially because it's a beautiful movie.
Yeah, I don't want to get anything wrong about the movie. Yeah, I'm just gonna.
I'm gonna see if I can do it faster.
No, everything, everywhere,
all at once. Yeah. So I'm a huge Michelle Yeoh fan. I absolutely adore Michelle Yeoh. The first time I ever saw her was in the James Bond movie, Tomorrow Never Dies. I think she is the saving grace of that movie. Otherwise, that movie is awful because the premise is so goofy. James Bond usually has goofy premises, but this was like, I want to start a war between the U.S. and China and then have media distribution rights. Mm-hmm. That's literally the premise of the movie. So weird.
James Bond movies are weird.
They are, but I love them all. I've seen every single James Bond movie at least once, if not 2 to 3 times. So if we ever want to talk about weird film things, yeah, that's me.
We'll do a special James Bond episode of Carrion Comfort News.
Oh, we should rank them all. Oh my god, that'd be messy.
That would be a good game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We could also just do Smash or Pass James Bonds.
That's true.
Or the Bond girls.
Also true. Or both. Ooh.
Or the villains.
Yeah, everything, everywhere, all at once.
Yeah.
Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Sue is in it, who, Brian LaBerge, if you are still around, you may be the only one who is excited as I am about her presence. She was in Be More Chill as Christine Canigula, and she was also Karen, the computer, in the SpongeBob musical. I got to see her on Broadway in both of those shows. Stephanie Sue is very good and very funny. She plays the daughter. Also, Ke-Huy Quan is in it, who was known for his role in The Goonies and Short Round in Indiana Jones, who has been not in movies at all up until recently with Crazy Rich Asians. He is also in the movie. All 3 of those actors, Michelle Yeoh, Stephanie Sue, and Ke-Huy Quan, because of the concept of the movie, all play at least like 3 different versions of themselves. In Kwan's case, 3 different versions of himself. In Michelle Yeoh's case and Stephanie Sue's case, 1 million different versions of themselves. The range on all 3 of them is fucking incredible. Because and the way I think
James Hong is also in the movie, which I would like to say.
James Hong is in the movie. James Hong is a treasure.
Who, if you don't remember who James Hong is, he's the advisor from Mulan.
Mm-hmm. He's also Poe's dad in Kung Fu Panda.
Oh my god, why did I never realize that? I love the Kung Fu Panda movies too. Well, I also just have watched those recently. Fun fact.
If you've ever seen Kung Fu Hustle,
the landlady's other well-known in the West role was a Bond girl.
The landlady.
Kung Fu Hustle. Is that actually just Michelle Yeoh? Because I'm pretty sure. No, she was in what is the weird cop? She's in the cop movie with Jackie Chan.
The Goose Dad specifically. Yes, Poe's adopted dad.
Yeah, the Goose Dad.
Jamie Lee Curtis is also in the movie.
Yeah, Jamie Lee Curtis is also in the
Deirdre.
movie. Sorry, I'm just looking up because Michelle Yeoh was she wasn't in Kung Fu Hustle. She's in the cop movies with Jackie Chan. If anyone remembers what those are called, I can't remember the name of all of them. All of a sudden,
Jackie Chan.
Yeah, there's a series of cop movies with Jackie Chan.
Police Story?
Yeah. Oh wait.
Super Cop.
There's a billion of them. We'll discuss that later. Anyway, Michelle Yeoh's in them, but is in the third one. This is I think Is it Ava Huang? Is that who we're talking about? I think we might be talking about Ava Huang from this. I like that we got way too deep into figuring out who this person is.
Rush Hour? Zeke says Rush Hour.
I don't think it's Rush Hour. I can also just look up Michelle Yeoh and it will come up. Jackie Chan is often a cop. That's very fair, but it's the ones that is there a billion Rush Hour? No, it's not Rush Hour, because I've seen the Rush Hour movies. Whereas I have not... Oh, Michelle Yeoh is also going to be... Is also in... Oh, it's Police Story 3. Super Cop is the one that Michelle Yeoh is in
said.
With Jackie Chan. I couldn't remember. I got very confused and then flustered, and this is where we ended up. Anyway.
That's fair.
The movie Everything Everywhere All at Once was a beautiful movie.
It is the best movie I have seen in at least 5 years, if not more.
It was absolutely gorgeous. There's a fun interview with Michelle Yeoh. I think I watched it it was on YouTube. I want to say it was like Esquire, one of those where they talk about like your most notorious movies. And when she actually started talking about this movie, she got super emotional and was like, you know, I usually try really hard to make sure I don't bring myself into my characters when I do a movie. But this one, that was really hard, and I felt very represented by this character, and she gets super emotional in the interview, and it was so touching. Also, during this movie, I cried during the last hour.
Mm-hmm.
Just cried. For probably, like, you know, a decent stream of tears for about an hour. It was absolutely beautiful. It told a really wonderful, compelling story in, like, a cool, psychedelic, wacky way.
Yeah, it's one of those things that does a really good job at... presenting a really ridiculous and absurd scenarios and just making you feel really emotionally distraught over them. It shows you like multiple different universes where things, the whole concept is that, you know, there's a bunch of different alternate universes depending on how choices are made and how things end up. Like one choice leads to a different path that leads to a different path that leads to a different universe. One of the more absurd ones is a universe where people have hot dogs for fingers.
Yes.
And yet the brief story that happens in that universe is one of the most emotionally devastating.
Yeah, it's super wild. I would honestly highly recommend seeing this movie. I don't want to spoil like too much.
Yeah.
It was truly beautiful, and the way it told the story, I think it also just like it touched on a couple things that like have like struck me in my life as well, that like a lot of like generational trauma and like, you know, expectations and things like that families expect of each other. Definitely touched on a lot of those to bring out those kind of emotions. And like I said, still told it in like this like goofy way where we're still worried about time travel and different universes, but there was still that really touching story of a family on the inside. It does
what a lot of modern day, this is kind of a hot take, because like I enjoy the Spider-Man movies. I enjoy going to watch a Marvel movie. Everything Everywhere All at Once uses those same heightened concepts, but they use them to tell an actually grounded and emotionally connected story in a way that Marvel movies sometimes pretend like they're doing, but don't actually do.
Nail. Yeah. Michelle Yeoh was one of the crazy cameos at the end of Guardians of the Galaxy 2. I've never seen the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
Was she really? I'm trying to remember Guardians of the Galaxy 2 and what the cameos were, what you mean by that. Michelle Yeoh was also in a Netflix movie called something ice cream. Hold on. Now I need to look this up, because it's actually a really good movie and you should watch it if you haven't.
She's also so amazing in Crazy Rich Asians. I don't know, I just love Michelle Yeoh, and I've been like a Michelle Yeoh fangirl since I saw her in James Bond. Definitely have a crush on Michelle Yeoh.
Michelle Yeoh was in Shang-Chi too. I haven't seen Shang-Chi yet.
Yes, she was in Shang-Chi. But she does phenomenal at this movie. I thought her portrayal was great. And I totally understand like how she could see herself in this character. Gunpowder Milkshake.
Gunpowder Milkshake, yes.
Oh, I didn't watch
that
yet.
Yes, thank you, Brian. Yes, Gunpowder Milkshake is great.
Maybe I'll have to put that on my sooner to watch
Michelle
list.
Michelle Yeoh is fantastic in it.
Okay, awesome. Yeah, I haven't seen that. Is that Michelle Yeoh?
In Gunpowder Milkshake?
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure.
Okay, I believe it. I mean, Brian said it. I was just checking, because I know people often get Michelle Yeoh. Oh, no, she's in it, yeah. I was going to say, people frequently get Michelle Yeoh mixed up for other actresses. But no, she's in it, because I didn't see it on her IMDb. That's why I was surprised. Gunpowder Milkshake was surprisingly good. I believe it tomorrow.
Yeah.
It's been on my watch list. I'm just
Yep.
since I haven't seen a lot of movies, I end up watching a bunch of different movies, and sometimes things slip off the list. But I'll have to rebump that up.
Karen Gillan, Lena Headey, Carla Gugino, Michelle Yeoh, and Angela Bassett.
Nice. I
who's
do
also
love
fucking amazing.
Angela Bassett is also amazing.
Yes.
I do love Michelle Yeoh. But yeah, I thought this movie was super beautiful. I mean, I assumed it was going to be good. I don't know. The premise seemed really cool. I saw a bunch of people tweeting online about how good the movie was. And then when we actually saw it, I was like astounded with how touching the movie really was. I will be honest, I'm very easy to cry at movies.
Same.
So I guess it's not surprising I got emotional, but I still really enjoyed it and appreciated it. And I'd say if it's showing in a theater near you, to definitely go see it. We tried not to spoil too much.
Yeah.
But the range of every person who acted in that movie was so good.
Yeah, I should say, no, it's kind of a spoiler. I won't say exactly who, but there are other actors who also show great range by playing multiple versions of themselves, which is kind of a spoiler because it's kind of a surprise when it happens. We'll talk later.
Okay.
I don't know. I felt like it was like a twist when it happened to show that, oh, this person's also hopping bodies.
Okay, I think I know who you're talking about. Yes,
it's fine. We'll confirm it later off screen. But yeah, everything, everywhere, all at once. Everything Leslie said. I was also using every ounce of willpower I had to not be sobbing at the end of it, but was still crying.
I didn't get to the point. So I saw the movie. I saw the movie Flea earlier in the year, and that movie actually almost brought me to the point of like. Sobbing. I always make this joke that I cry like Florence Pugh in Midsommar, which I do. And there's only so far Flea is the only movie that's like kind of brought me close to that level of almost crying. Because that was a very emotional film about being a refugee, and this movie I was crying a lot, but I didn't get quite to those gross sobs where I sound like I'm a howling animal.
Yeah.
But this movie was so touching. Yeah.
It's really good. It's really, 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 really good. I'm going to go see it again. I'm already talking with a friend of mine.
Nice.
Closer to home, who likes movies, and we're probably gonna go see it together.
Nice, that's awesome. I would say I actually almost was gonna go see this by myself, and I'm kind of glad I didn't, because I had that nice like solidarity of like it was Zoe, myself, and Natalie went to see the movie, and it was nice to have that solidarity of other people with me who had also gotten emotional. Whereas like, you know, I've gone to movies and cried by myself, but like sometimes it's like nice to like have the solidarity of like two other people there and be like, wow, that was emotional. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Cool, I'm glad we're all upset.
I agree. I would definitely recommend going to see it with friends.
Yeah. Otherwise, it's still beautiful. I would highly recommend going to see it. But yeah, very much enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I think that's it for us for this week. We did go a little over again.
No,
did we?
not even
2 hours? Oh shit! I thought this show was supposed to be like an hour and a half.
Hour and a half to 2 hours.
Okay, hour and a half to 2 hours. Sick. That makes sense.
Cool. We normally go to 5:30, so we're doing good right now.
You normally go to 5:30.
We normally go to 5:30 because of the game.
Oh, the game.
Because normally it takes us a couple hours to get to the news, and then we do the game. We're working on that though. We're working on time management. Last week we did very well.
Okay, Smasher past Michelle Yeoh.
Smash.
Okay, yeah, same.
What fucking
I don't know.
What fucking question is that? Smasher pass. I can't remember the actor's name off the top of my head already. Hold on.
The actor played.
Who played the husband?
The dad.
Yeah. Kei Kwan.
I'm gonna say Smash. He was cute.
Smash.
Yeah.
Smash or pass, James Hong.
Pass. Can we just go get like tea or something? I don't want to smash everybody.
That's fair.
Smash or pass?
Pass.
Okay.
Yeah.
I for a second I was like,
he's kind of old.
He's kind of old. I'd rather just like go get tea. I don't know. That sounds fun and pleasant and talk.
Smash or pass, Jamie Lee Curtis.
I'm gonna pass on Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't want your yogurt.
Jamie Lee Curtis. In this movie, pass. Jamie Lee Curtis plays an IRS agent. The main plot at first, like, or the grounded story revolves around Michelle Yeoh's family being audited by the IRS. JamieLee Curtis plays the IRS agent.
Well, I don't think they're being audited, so they're trying to purchase new property.
They put themselves in a position where they are now being audited,
right,
because of the poor paperwork Michelle Yeoh has kept. But not Michelle Yeoh, but her character.
Yeah.
I don't remember her character's name.
Evelyn.
Evelyn, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it was wild. They run a laundromat.
Yeah.
I don't want your yogurt. I mean...
but Jamie Lee Curtis...
I'm going to be real. Whenever I hear Jamie Lee Curtis, I just think of the yogurt commercials, because that was I think my first exposure to Jamie Lee Curtis is
I don't remember
Activia.
those.
That is Jamie Lee Curtis, right? Am I going wild?
I believe you. I just don't remember them.
They were all over my TV as a youth. Constantly seeing yogurt commercials for Activia. Pretty sure it was Jamie Lee Curtis. And yeah, I hadn't seen... Because Jamie Lee Curtis is in Halloween, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, she's
I hadn't seen those movies until recently, so...
Right? Yeah.
I think that is her.
Yep.
Thank you.
Maro and Brian agree.
Thank you.
And Zeke. They all agree.
Yeah, thank you for supporting me in my remembering Jamie Lee Curtis from Activia commercials. Yeah, I didn't see Halloween until last year. So
okay.
Yeah, I'd never seen that movie, so I didn't know who she was, except the yogurt lady.
Jamie Lee Curtis normally would be a smash for me, but she is intentionally presented, as a very abrasive person in this film.
Yeah, she's intense.
There are some other aspects, go see the movie.
See Everything Everywhere All at Once. She's in Paul.
And everyone
has seen
Paul. The alien movie? I have not seen Paul.
I have not seen Paul.
Is that the Simon Pegg movie?
Not seen Paul.
I feel like Brian's...
I have not seen the SNL sketch about the yogurt commercial.
Because I don't think a lot of people went to see Paul. I could be wrong, though.
I'm gonna look up Jamie Lee Curtis's filmography. I see the robot face with the tongue out now.
Okay.
I'm gonna double check if there's any movie that I've seen Jamie Lee Curtis in. Prior to me seeing
Scream.
I hadn't seen Scream until last year either.
Yeah, that's what I mean. They name dropped her because they're like, you can't have Halloween.
Yeah,
but
I saw those yogurt commercials when I was like 10, so it'd have to be before I was 10 years old. She's gonna be in the Borderlands movie.
Oh shit, that's sick.
She was in Freaky Friday.
Yeah, she's the mom in Freaky Friday.
I'm gonna be real. I always told people I'd seen Freaky Friday, but I've never seen Freaky Friday.
Wow. Do you hear this? Breaking news. Leslie the liar.
She is in a lot of stuff.
She's in Knives Out. You've seen Knives Out, right?
Yeah, but I wouldn't have seen the Knives Out movie before I saw the yogurt commercials.
Oh, okay.
That's why I went all the way down.
Sure.
Because it's like...
She was great in Knives Out.
She was really good in Knives Out.
I can't wait for Knives Out 2.
I'm confused for Knives Out 2. Oh!
It's like it's what?
Hilariously, I think the first movie I might have seen Jamie Lee Curtis's is from Up on Poppy Hill, which is a Studio Ghibli movie where she was voice acting.
That makes sense.
That might be the first time I saw Jamie Lee Curtis.
Knives Out 2 is just going to follow Daniel Craig's character. It's not going to be any of like the family or anything.
Okay, that's
it's just him like going on more detective adventures.
Okay.
We should wrap this up because it's almost 5:00.
Yeah, we're wrapping now. It was just my yogurt comment and then me trying to figure out if I had seen Jamie Lee in anything else beforehand. She's playing Tannis in the Borderlands movie. Yeah. Tannis. Cool. I know that name. I'll have to figure out who that character is later. I've played Borderlands 1, 2, and 3, but I've never finished any of them. But yeah, I hope everyone had a good afternoon. I appreciate everyone sticking around with us. Oh, I should look for someone to raid.
She's the doctor.
Oh, yeah. Okay. No one's really streaming right now. And I think Onyx Path is probably about to wrap because they started a little bit before us.
Yeah.
We might not raid. Everyone just have a good afternoon.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in.
Make sure you check out our sponsors.
Yeah, check out our sponsors who we pitched at the beginning. You can always join our Patreon, our Discord, to hang out with us. Otherwise, we'll be back Tuesday with more Comfort Sickle. It looks like I'm going to be playing Detention based on The Poll, which is a horror game that's by Red Candle Studios, who I played their new demo that's out for 9 Souls last Tuesday. So this Tuesday I'll be playing Detention. Wednesday we'll be back with Good Game Well Played, where Zoe and Derek and Wes are going to play Fortnite. I'm going to try and pop in depending on recording. We're going to try and play some Fortnite. And don't forget tips. Yeah, we also have the tip option. Raid Our Chicken Life. I'm going to be real, Brian. I trust you dearly. I'm going to double check who that is and see what they're doing. But I'm going to... We'll do it. Sorry, I also have to lean forward really...
Oh, there they are.
Do it. I just want to see what they're doing first. Yeah. I don't like to blindly raid into... We're absolutely doing this. It's just a live
my
chicken
God.
cam. Yeah, we're doing
This is
it.
amazing.
Brian, thank you so much. Oh wait, I have to do it's /raid.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna do that. I'll hit that
Sick.
once we start wrapping. Yeah, be sure to tip us.
Oh my
Tuesday
God.
we'll be back with Comfort Sickle. Wednesday's Good Game we'll play with Fortnite. Thursday we're back with Yazeba's Bed and Breakfast. Sorry, there's just a chicken butt on the one screen.
Friday we'll have Kingdom Hearts Interstitial War, which is the first part of the finale.
First part of the finale, yes.
First part
of the finale.
Big extended finale.
Come check. We're gonna eventually post a YouTube of the trailer. I think it actually might be on Twitter already.
It is on Twitter.
So check our Twitters for that. I don't think I retweeted it. I'll go take care of that now.
No late night comfort Saturday.
No late night comfort on Saturday.
But we'll be back with Carrion Comfort News on next Sunday.
Yep, and I imagine it'll be back to Wes and Zoe, but we'll see.
Yeah.
And I hope everyone has a good afternoon. And don't forget, comfort comes soon. And have a good afternoon, everyone. Peace.